can it be? She wrote a number down, it's here in front of me. Don't understand. She must have told me a lie. I wonder why in me, but I can see it's a lie. I wonder why in me, but I can see don't understand. She must have told me a lie. I wonder why in me, but I can see it's a lie. I wonder why in me, but I can see don't understand. She must have told me a lie. I wonder why in me, but I can see it's a lie. I wonder why in me, but I can see don't understand. She must have told me a lie. I wonder why in me, but I can see it's a lie. I wonder why in me, but I can see it's a lie. I wonder why in me, but I can see it's a lie. I wonder why in me, but I can see it's a lie. How can
It's been a minute, y'all. What up, though? What's good, everybody? What's good? What's good? What's good, man? Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. If I got 22 people listening, that's a plus, man. So hopefully I can have a conversation with everyone about how I've been feeling lately. And as I have not been going live anymore, I've been listening to a lot of arguments. Anybody knows me know, yes, I do debate, but I do study also. So a lot of my time has been consisting of a lot of study, building with other uh, groups on YouTube that you guys know on YouTube or you guys see on YouTube. Shout out to Cedric Ortega. He in the building. C. Dot, the extraordinary one. He is in the building. Infinite Guide is in the building. What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. This one's gonna be a little tough, but I think it's something that we can all agree with. And that's when I've been just sitting back looking at what is everybody arguing. You got guys arguing about ADOS, people arguing about FBA, and also people arguing that they're still Hebrews. I thought that shit was dead. People arguing that they're ABOs. And I watched this movie called Sinners, and there was a character in there, and his last name was Freedman. And what I did was, I just said, I used to have a gentleman that came on the channel. He also had the last name Freedman. I said, man, let me just look this name up. Let me look at this term. Let me really get into some study, something a little bit more concurrent, something a little bit more plausible, right? So as I'm sitting up there, shout out to, let me see, we got Awesome Minton in the building. What's good with you? Militant Bro 28497. He is in the building. Think Twice podcast is in the building. Guys, I swear to God, I talk to these brothers. I'm a twin myself. I have a twin sister, but these guys are identical twins. You will be thinking twice talking to them. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you're talking to the right one, too. You know what I'm saying? Because both of them got vastly different personalities. Y'all get over there, check out that podcast. But as I was sitting there thinking about it, all these different people groups, all these different identity groups, I kept on saying, all right, so African American, that term, they don't want to be called African Americans. They want to be called this. They want to be called that. I don't know what's wrong with the term African American, but I decided to just throw something out there. I think we should ditch all of it. How about what we call, how about we identify as American freedmen? Because essentially that's our legal status in the United States of America. Black and white are only social constructs, but our legal status in America, according to the Constitution of the United States of America, we're American freedmen. Here, let me put it down for everybody, and maybe people gonna disagree with me. I understand that. I'm more than mature to have the conversation. But if I'm telling you that I'm not speaking on our origin, in which we know it's African, right? But I'm telling you who we are today. We're a Creole-based people. We're no longer African in the sense of culture. We're American. We speak English. We celebrate American holidays. We attend American events. Everything that was African about us has been wiped out. Our heritage and everything, our identity, our language wasn't allowed to be spoken. We weren't allowed to carry on anything African anymore in this country. We've lost that identity. That was part of our identity that was oppressed. It's gone. Everybody wants to say that they're African on YouTube within the certain militant groups, but nobody wants to be African in the other groups. So what is wrong with the term American freedmen? Yes, our origin is African, and we're our own unique, distinct group of Africans over here today. The process of amalgamation, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, civil rights, and slavery have changed our face in who we are today. We can no longer, me personally, this is how I feel, I don't think we can no longer use African to identify. We need to be using the term American freedmen. Now, who would have a problem with that? Because that's what it says in the United States Constitution. What does the American freedmen constitute? Well, maybe later on today, or if somebody wants to get up here and read the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, you're going to find out. You were not identified as an African in the United States Constitution. Because first of all, you were chattel. You were nothing but a slave. You were property. And when you were freed, you were identified as a freedman. Because the United States Constitution is a legal document. It's a legally binding document. We can get into what Donald Trump is doing with the Department of Justice, using it as his own playground. We can get into that another time. But if I'm identifying as an American freedman, there are rights that go along with that. See, people like Tariq Nasheed, the Hebrew Israelites, Ados, and all that shit. I think it has been, I think those groups or these terms have come around to confuse us now. I clearly see it. We're arguing FBA versus Ados, Hebrews versus Christians, Abos versus Africans. It's always an identity that we're arguing. Culture equals identity. The origin of the culture that we have today is, in fact, American. What do y'all think? How do y'all feel about that? Has anybody ever read the Freedmen's Bureau Act of 1865? These are legally binding documents that exist. And when we're trying to identify as another people group that doesn't exist within the legal document, we're going to continue to be ignored. Now, most people don't understand all of it, but most of it was, in fact, there to help out American freedmen. See, the trick that they throw at you is the word black. They love throwing that at you. Because, see, then you're only fighting for a social construct or identity assumed through slavery. I hate to say that. But I think this is something that needs, I think this is something that needs to be spoken on. Somebody a little bit more equipped, because like I said, I have been studying. I've gone into the United States Constitution, and I think we need to make it an honest movement in this community. And that's why I went live about this, because I wanted smart people who are intelligent to understand what the argument is. Was all freed slaves considered freemen? That's semantical. Yes, all freed slaves were considered freedmen. Yes. Hey Shirley, how you doing? Good afternoon. Shout out to Brian Carr 3832. Shout out to everybody. So I think that's how we need to identify. We know we're African, but culturally speaking, we're no longer African. We're no longer of the Yoruba, Mende groups that were brought over here. We're not part of those groups anymore. Bantu languages, we don't speak any of those languages anymore. No one's speaking those things. We have to be a bit more practical. I'm telling you guys, we need to be a bit more practical. We need to be aligning ourselves up and start arguing these things a bit more articulately. I can't say that word today. A little bit more articulately that we've been arguing these silly challenges. Cedric knows what I'm talking about. You said you didn't write that well. It's no problem. There's no beef on here. I want to put the link in the chat. If anybody wants to come on, be my guest. You know, like I said, I just decided to do a little live with everybody while I'm sitting here on lunch and kick it with y'all. How do y'all feel about identifying as American freedmen? Do you guys have a problem with that? If you guys have a problem with that, tell me why. Jamar Shalah says, speaking in absolutes is troublesome. Speaking for 40 million people is a stretch. That's why I'm asking. I'm not speaking for anyone. I am asking, what do you all think? But when Jesse Jackson said that we were African Americans, and he used that term, or when these terms were given to us through these social structures, guess what? We accepted them. So when these terms were given to us, they spoke for us, to us, and we accepted it. How do we distinguish between the African that comes over here versus the African that was already here? You're not part of those groups anymore. You're not part of their culture anymore. You're just not. See, now I'm really about to get my ass kicked. C Dot then came up in the building.
Yeah, man. What the hell are you talking about, Chris? We're not going for that. Nah, I'm just playing. Nah,
Yeah, what's good?
hey, man, what's good, family, man? Hey, I've always said, man, I agree with us being able to take a stance on what we name ourselves, or what we identify as here. It's a reason why I typically had that American flag, you know what I'm saying, draped in, you know what I'm saying, red, black, and green. It's because of the fact that I understand that we are American. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? In pretty much every sense of the word, you know what I mean, when we talk about the way that we move, the way that we dress, the way that we speak, everything about us in general is pretty much assimilated to what the standard is for America.
hmm
We put our own twist and add our own little twang to everything that we do here, but you know, it's pretty much in it's pretty much in what's the word for it? I'm think of the word for it. It was in spite. I'm sorry, that's the word. In spite of the things that we was dealing with here in this country. So I think uniquely we are American, but the reason that I am a Pan African or that I choose to cling to the Pan African ideology is because I understand that that is the root of where
Okay.
we come from. You know what I mean? That's you know, when we want to check our lineage or whatever, it don't stop in America. You know what I mean? It keeps going. So I think we should focus on what we come from, but at the same time, we got to understand who we are and what we are here in this country. And with the brother saying 40 million, you know what I'm saying? 40 million, all of 40 some odd million people in America aren't descendants of slaves. I mean, it's just a real truth. You know what I mean? That 40 million plus aren't completely the descendants of slaves. So
Right.
we do have to understand that there's a nuance to it because it's important for us in order to reach that reparations approach.
hmm
But at the same time, we can't throw away, you know what I mean, our roots, you know what I mean, and what we actually come from. We should always strive to make sure we understand and know the history behind all of this shit. But it's good
Yeah.
that you telling folks go read the history. Go read the paperwork, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's the reason why it was a Freedman's Bank. It's the reason why it was a Freedman's institution. Freedman's this, Freedman's that. It's nuance around that
Yeah.
and
But see,
legality around that word. So
yeah. Pan African Designs and Apparel, he says the term African American came from the collective of African American historians. Jesse Jackson was the figurehead for that movement via Dr. Clark slash African Studies. Okay, I don't, that's not my argument, the origin of the term African American. I'm just saying, what should we be calling ourselves today? That's a little bit more distinct. You know what I'm saying? That's going to always remind everyone of on what should be happening with this distinct group of people. We got Black Superman in the building. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up? Top of the morning, brother Chris.
How you doing, man? Who is this? Black Superman. Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, man, and I love the show, man. I love you too, man, as a brother. But I'm glad I'm back on the panel because I was on here a couple months ago, and I was hoping to talk to C Dot again. Y'all was in here on some very pro Pan African shit, and I just want to know what caused a sudden change of heart. What's up now? Are you now identifying as FBA, and even if you're not FBA, are you now saying Black American? Because I can recall a couple months ago we was in the chat, and I came up on the panel, and y'all was super protecting Africa. And I was just asking, so
mhm.
what tribe are you from? Have you ever been to Africa? And I was explaining how I had lived in Tanzania with my wife and
Hmm.
kids. So anyway, I just want to know what caused a sudden change of heart, if there is one, or yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm going to always agree with the Pan-African philosophy because the Pan-African ideology is simply creating a destiny for Africans in the diaspora. But how do we identify over here if we can't necessarily distinctively identify as Africans over here? We don't speak any Mende, Yoruba, Bantu languages over here in America. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, that's what I was saying. That was my total argument. Having lived in on the continent
But
and traveled
now, does that
traveled to
mean
several countries. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, I want to let's take our time with this here. Does that mean that we are not the descendants of Africans though?
No, of
Just
course not.
because I
You'd be
don't
an
speak those
idiot.
languages,
No,
right?
you'd be
So
an
that
idiot because we know that we all have E1, B1A
yes,
DNA. So we cannot sit up here and say we're not from Africa. But, and this is not just a buzzword or a Tariq Nasheed talking point, but the more I research the word ethnogenesis, which I'm not going to sit up here and lie and pretend like I always knew what that meant. No, I had to go and research it because I didn't know prior to hearing. I'm like, what is the ethnogenesis? What is the ethnogenesis? And I really had to go research it. I wasn't just doing no buzzword or regurgitating like a lot of brothers do, something that I had just heard. And the more I'm researching that word, it's actually true. We did have an ethnogenesis. Do we come from the continent? Of course. But did we have an ethnogenesis? Yes, because we're just phenotypically, we're just not the same anymore. And having lived there, I can speak for that for myself. We just not the same. And they'll tell you quick, go to one of those countries, any one of the 54 countries, and they're going to tell you quick, no, you're not this or that. You're a black American. And eventually you're going to have to embrace it.
okay, yeah, and I would agree with that, but I would disagree with everything that Tariq Nasheed has to say or do. I don't need his ethno genesis argument to understand what our ethnogenesis was over here in the Americas. He does not say that black people come from Africans, period. He teaches that we come from Taino, Moorish descent, and all this other craziness. So I would disagree with him on anything that he has to say. My argument is simply a legally binding one that is simply more distinct from just saying African American. If we are American freedmen, that is a legally binding term that is found in the 13th, 14th Amendment. That was found in the Freedman Act of 1865, which is found throughout the United States Constitution, which is a legal document. And what I'm trying to do is have a conversation about identity and how we identify over here in the United States of America. Because being Hebrew ain't good enough, being Ados ain't good enough, being FBA ain't good enough, being African American ain't good enough. Well, how about a term that encompasses everything that we've been through over here in this country? An American freedman, the descendant of African slaves. What's wrong with that? And that's what I'm asking. Been no change of heart. The Pan-African philosophy, I stand on that. The Pan-African philosophy, it's not set in stone. It's always going to change because the political arena shall always change. You get what I'm saying, bro? So when
Yeah,
many times
absolutely. But I think
when
in
I hear
theory,
the
yes,
one
that
second,
sounds good.
hold
In
on,
theory, that
let me
sounds
finish.
good. Just like the, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna let you talk. All right, because C Dot's up here too. All I'm sitting up there saying is many times I hear people who try to attack Pan-African philosophy, I laugh because I say the political arena always changes. And then you guys always try to hold a C dot or myself to one definition of what Pan-Africanism is. When common sense will tell you that the political arena will always change, therefore the philosophy will change according to the arena. So I hope I've answered enough of that. I want to let you speak. C dot, if you got anything to say, go right ahead.
Yeah, just right fast. Yeah, because I wanted to make sure because I thought I clarified it very well coming into this. The Pan African ideology is always at the top of the scale for me. It doesn't change anything. It never did in the first place because Pan Africanism was not against any of these different movements. Pan Africanism just said that the way that these movements are decided to move forward, which is creating distance or positioning themselves in opposition of Africans and diasporan Africans, is antithetical to Pan Africanism. So there's no way that I can get behind. I was all for FBA. I was all for ADO. So you can ask Chris. I
Hold
was
on, see
all
that you
for.
ain't gonna start throwing no bigger words on my platform than I can use now. Now I'm gonna find something for your ass. Now, go ahead.
No, but I mean, I'm saying you can. I mean, they can ask you. You know what I'm saying? Like I supported ADOS at one point. You know what I'm saying? I supported the FBA movement at one point. I never denied that I supported
You
those guys.
sure did.
What I was against was the new twist in because when Chris showed me the video of what's her name?
Yvette Carnell.
Yeah,
Yvette
Yvette
Carnell.
Carnell going
Yeah,
against Africans. I hadn't
yeah.
seen that prior to that, so I was shocked. I was like, what? Why would she be? Nah, this ain't what she about. This ain't what ADOS is about. We already understand that there is a difference between the people who should be receiving reparations and the people who might be immigrants to this country. We already get that. So why would there be a fight
Well, I
or a
don't think it's a
push?
fight, but I gotta hold you to the fire, and I can't let you run from that because I was in here and I was literally talking to you, and we was going back and forth, and you was saying, "Well, you ain't gotta go to Africa to be a Pan Africanist," and I was
You
like, "Bro,
don't.
well, kinda." I know you say that. That's why I'm not lying. And I was like, "Bro, if you're a Pan Africanist, you probably kind of want to visit the continent so you can kind of see what's going on and have boots on the ground." Now, let me say something like this. In theory, yes, it's wonderful. Pan-Africanism, the ideology of it, in theory, it's beautiful, but it just doesn't work because how can you practice Pan-Africanism if we as Black Americans are the only ones toting the weight? We doing 80-20%, 80 to 20%, and it's just not beneficial for us because we the
What?
only ones pushing Pan-Africanism. I've been there, and they're gonna tell you quick. And this is not a knock to Africans. As an FBA, I don't have no hate in my heart towards the Caribbeans or Africans. They just don't practice it, my brother. And when you go over there, if you go to Tanzania or Kenya, they're gonna call you Mzungu, which is like a foreigner. You're gonna say, "Nah, I ain't a Mzungu. I'm Black just like you." They're gonna say, "No, I'm from the Hey tribe. I'm from the Iraqi tribe. I'm
But
from the
you are
Chaga
a
tribe."
foreigner, brother.
I know
You are a
exactly.
You
So
are a
that's why
foreigner.
foreigner.
they're going to call you a Black American. So we are Black
Right.
Americans. So we don't need to push the Pan Africanism ideology because no one else is pushing it but us. So how is it beneficial?
That's
Oh,
false, though. That whole thing that you just said is false. It's completely false, and it's
Will you tell me
evidently
where they're
false
pushing
because you
Pan
can. Hold
Africanism?
on.
Which
Let me
country
finish.
is
Let me
pushing
finish.
it?
Let me finish, brother. Let me finish. It's absolutely false because you can type in on YouTube Pan Africanism. You can type it in on Google Pan Africanism, and you can see the wide array of different diasporan Africans, not only from Africa, but from all over the world who practice the ideology. So when you say things that is just purely incorrect, I mean, it's blatantly incorrect. It's
I'm
like
not even a
you
blanket
haven't
statement
even
over
did
all
you
Africans.
haven't
I'm
even
saying
done the
the vast
research
majority.
to make
I
the
have boots on
comments
the
that you're
ground.
making.
You're right. So I can't say everyone, but I can say the vast majority. You may have pockets here and there.
How
You may
have you
see
met the
sprinkles.
vast majority of Africans?
No, I can. That's why I said I'm speaking from my own personal experiences of the 5 or 6 countries that I have visited on the continent to your zero. So
Right.
I've
Have you
actually been there and
researched
had
any
boots. Hold
Pan
on, wait 1 second,
Africans?
sir. I've talked to people on the ground. I've actually had boots on the ground and had conversations like we're talking right now. Not just something I've seen on the internet or read on the internet. I've actually traveled and had boots on the ground and had a chance to talk to these people. So I've got 6 countries to your zero, and you're a Pan Africanist, and you've never even been to the continent.
so are
So
you
you
saying that
go
people? Hold on.
ahead.
One second. Are you saying that when you say a majority of countries in Africa don't, what's it called, practice Pan-Africanism? What is the definition of Pan-Africanism, if you don't mind me asking?
Thank you,
The
Chris.
definition
Thank
of
you.
Pan Africanism, without looking it up just off the top of the dome, is a unified global Pan African identity practice, not only on the continent, but in the diaspora, practicing
Okay,
complete unity and seeing, just becoming as
okay,
one and unifying under the
okay,
Africa. Go ahead. Sorry.
okay, okay. You just said practice within the continent. The definition of Pan-Africanism, here, I'm gonna give it to you real quick.
Well, I didn't look it up.
All
I just
right.
gave it to you off the top of the dome.
Yeah, that's fair. But
That's
I
the
want to give it to you.
problem.
So I don't
Exactly.
want to give you a floating definition. So Pan-Africanism is the idea that peoples of African descent have common
Yes, sir.
interests and should be unified. Historically,
Yes, sir.
Pan-Africanism has often taken the shape of a political or cultural movement. There are many varieties of Pan-Africanism. In its narrowest political manifestation, Pan-Africanists envision a unified African nation where all people of African diaspora can live. Do you have a problem with that?
No, in theory, no, but in reality, that's impossible because
Stop,
it's too
stop,
tribalistic over there, and they would
stop,
tell you
my brother.
themselves.
Stop,
I said,
stop.
no, I don't.
So again,
Okay, go ahead, Cedric.
the definition clearly identifies that this becoming a philosophy and a concept out of the diaspora. So it's Caribbean and Americans who are from African descent who formed this whole collective with primary emphasis was black existentialism, providing us with an identity and a rooting in our societies, giving us an identity and a political voice. From that you got movements like the civil rights movement. From that you got the different movements in the Caribbean, which eventually led to some of the islands gaining their independence. So making it, equating it to something to do with the continent itself in terms of a united thing is just your philosophy. What we are talking about is in the diaspora creating an identity for ourselves post slavery. If you see how we were identified post slavery, we were absolutely nothing. We were uneducated. We were this, we were that. Pan African movement in its essence gave us an identity and fortified us through our scholars, establishing bodies of schools, giving us identity and uniting us in our fight for identity. Never, never was it about going back to Africa or becoming Africans. It was fighting for our position in this hemisphere. And on that, we have always been and continue to be united. Like Chris said, because of its political foundation, it is always going to be dynamic. But in this conversation, it is completely non sequitur because all these Pan Africans coming uniting identify where they come from and the problems that they face that are unique to their particular environment. It is resource pooling to help fight the struggles that we face in this hemisphere. So, in this conversation about FBA, it is completely and totally non sequitur. When we're regarding the political emphasis for the whole movement, I completely agree with the point of delineation, which is ADOS, the American descendants of slavery, which would eliminate any Caribbean descendants or any African descendants from a possible reparation conversation. But what your guys are doing is trying to deny your indigenous African origins. And that is where it becomes pseudo and you get the pushback.
But that's absolutely false. And you pseudo guys, man, I don't know what type of scientists or who gave you guys credibility. And I'm talking about the whole Dagger crew, but that was categorically and absolutely false. No, I'm telling you from straight from the horse's mouth as an FBA. We know we're not idiots. We know which haplogroup we come from. We know where our ancestry come from. So please don't come on here and just start spewing lies because that's not correct. I'm not saying that my ancestors did not come here via the transatlantic slave trade. So please don't say that again.
Only you're
Okay,
an American descendant of slaves, aka Freeman or Nados.
Absolutely, but we have different banners. So back to the original question that what Brother Chris was saying, I don't know. I don't have the answer of what we should call ourselves, because we need. That's where we need to get our
well,
great
let
minds,
me
and
help
that's where
you.
we need to get our
Yeah.
Can I
think
can
tanks.
I
We need
say
to have
something,
Well,
think
Chris?
tanks, and we need to have our great
no,
minds
no,
and
wait,
think
wait, wait,
tanks come
wait.
together.
Let him finish. Okay, well, let me say this real quick because I want to let Sabio talk real quick. Hold that thought for me, Sabio, bro. So what I'm trying to do is have a collective conversation on how we should label ourselves, right? There's no such thing as a foundational Black American because it's a hijacked term. It's a hijacked movement. If we collectively come together and we look at the United States Constitution, you're going to see American freedmen in there, right? Now, I'm not telling you this is how you should identify. But when you're talking in legalistic terms or terminology, how do we identify distinctively as Africans over here? And I agree with Cedric on that, right? We're freedmen. That is a last name that people in the South have adopted and they have added to their names. Matter of fact, you can go watch the Boondocks. Huey Freedman, Riley Freedman, That's their last name. It comes from what? 1865, 1866, the Emancipation Proclamation. So when you're saying that Pan-Africanism is not going to get it done, we're literally up here speaking collectively on, hey, how can we approach this thing differently? Because FBA can't get it done. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I have to do a lot more reading, but this is what I've been studying lately, right? This is why CDOT is up here. How do we
Okay, but you said
collectively
FBA
come
can't get
to
it
how it,
done. Okay, well that's why I said it's going to be pretty hard, and good luck trying to get 43 plus million Black Americans to all agree and come under one banner. So I don't have the answer. I'd be
well,
lying
how has that, well, watch this. How is FBA done with 43 million people? Because that's a pivot move. How are
well,
they done
FBA is
trying
a
to identify as FBA?
well, FBA is a pretty new movement. It's just now catching traction. We've been practicing Pan
It had
Africanism for the
zero
last.
traction.
Hold on 1 second, brother. That's a lie. Now we've been practicing Pan
Hold on,
Africanism for
hold
the
on.
past 60 years, and where's that
Oh,
got us? The
really?
definition of insanity is
Oh,
doing the same thing over and
hold on,
over and
hold on, hold
expecting
on,
a
hold
different
on.
result.
It got you the civil rights bill. What are you talking about?
That didn't get us the
It got
civil
you the
rights
civil
bill.
rights.
Pan
Yes, it
Africanism didn't
did.
get us the civil rights
Yes,
bill.
it did. It was
That came
Africans
from
coming together. Excuse me. Let me talk. Because now you're using talking points. You got the civil rights bill with the collective efforts of Africans coming together during the first Pan-African conference, moving forward all the way to 1963. As a matter of fact, civil rights don't start in 1963. It actually starts in 1863. So from 1863 to 1964, with the Civil Rights Act, you have Africans coming together collectively trying to make their lives better over here in America. Pan-African is a philosophy, and it's for all of the diaspora. So what I'm hearing is a lot of talking points, bro, and you're trying to attack. Well, I'm not gonna be a Pan African anymore. Okay, that's cool. If you don't want to be a Pan African anymore, get at me with FBA and Tariq Nasheed. You understand what I'm saying? I want to let Sabio talk though. Go ahead, Sabio.
What up, Chris? What up, Sad? What up, C Doc?
Yeah.
What's
What's
good,
been
brother?
crazy to me about African deniers, the people that want to be anything but or try to rearrange, they always try to use this word delineation and ethnogenesis. And we've had the delineation. We delineated as soon as we started, as soon as our ancestors, before America was a nation. I think the Free African Society is like
Yeah.
1786 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So right then and there, that was the delineation. Our people, the descendants of Africans born in the Americas, knew that we were not like those people getting off the boats in the Americas with their languages, cultures, and customs coming straight from the motherland. That's the delineation and the ethnogenesis. So you niggas stop lying to yourselves. Stop trying to be something you're not because you're not indigenous to the Americas. And we won't be. So please, bro, grow up and stop letting people like Tariq Nasheed and these liars mislead you and miseducate you and to make you hate the thing that has got you to be where you are today on the internet, denying your Africanness, bro. Because those people who died and fought for you to be here today lying about your Africanness are looking at you like you a piece of shit if you believe in spirits, and I don't, nigga. So you's a piece of shit.
No, wait. I don't want to do that. I want.
Hey,
Hold on.
hold on. Can I talk? Hold on. Can I respond? Can I respond?
1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
Hold up, I'm almost through.
Because I don't want to name
apologize.
call. I don't want to name
I
name call. You
apologize.
don't deserve it. Yeah.
But you know, I love our people, I love our history, and I love all the things that we have done to be here today as a 43 million strong people group in this country that said that we wasn't gonna ever be here. So for you to be acting like that is disrespectful to everything that we have done in this country to be here, bro. Stop.
Okay. I want. Go ahead, Black Superman. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it really quick. I'm gonna be brief because we got a couple things going on here. For one, I see we have a comprehension problem because never did I ever deny my Africanness or my ancestry. So let's start there and let's not forget that. Let's get that written in stone. Secondly, I don't speak for Tariq Nasheed. He can speak for himself. You know where his channel is at. You can go get at him. He's not my leader. I don't follow him. I just happen to be a listener. And for three, I just said I've actually lived on the continent. I don't have no hate in my heart for Africans. These dudes come up here with all that yapping and they never even been there and don't have no plans on going. I've been to 6 different countries on the continent, got much love for my brothers and sisters in East Africa. But again, you're gonna bring another brother up here that's gonna twist and conflate what I said, and he's gonna look goofy because I'm saying it for the third time. I've been there, lived there, traveled there extensively, have no hate in my heart as a black American. And but somehow you're gonna find a way to twist it and say that I hate Africa or I'm denying Africa or I'm a Tariq
I
Nasheed
don't.
minion. But
I
go
was
ahead.
gonna clear that. Yeah, what I was gonna do, I was gonna clear all that up.
I
The
have businesses
problem.
there and I have tangible businesses there at the moment while we speak currently. So
Okay, yeah.
all this yapping
So
is just
my
irrelevant.
question, yeah, yeah, I get it. It really is. So my question to you is, what problem do you have with the Pan African philosophy? Because it encompasses many different philosophies. Like right now, I'm having a Pan African conversation with you on how we should identify over here in the United States. I think American freedmen will be perfect. It's very distinctive. It's legally binding. It tells the entire world who we are and what we went through over here as Americans. Distinctively, we're no longer African. We don't speak the languages anymore. That's what I am saying. I didn't say we are not African people. I'm speaking on a culture. And I think that's what you heard. You heard something that piqued your interest, such as when you thought that I was saying that we're not African as in culture. I would agree. We're not anymore as far as language and things like that. No, we're not. Right? All those distinct languages that we came over here with, they're gone. It was taken out of us. Jim Crow, Reconstruction, the Civil War, all of that were
Well,
American
I can't
freedmen.
sit here and lie. I'm not one of these fake scientist dudes like Ankh and these pseudo dudes that say pseudo 100 times. That's gonna come up here and give you some prison plebiscite babble. That's why I said we need to have think tanks. We need to have our great minds together, and we need to come up with a solution. If I had the answer to it, we'd already be doing it. But
So
good luck on trying to get 43 million plus Black
why do
Americans to
you
agree
like
under
to
one banner. That's why we need to
identify
have our great
as
minds come together.
Why do you
Here's the thing.
identify as FBA when the foundation and the pillars of that title are pseudo? When you talk about indigenous
Mm.
Africans or people, black people being here before Columbus, when you talk about
But no
part of
one said any indigenous. It's
stop,
how is
stop,
foundational pseudo?
stop,
Foundational is clear cut.
stop.
Have we been here since the inception of this
Let
country?
me
Yes.
Hold on, let
finish.
him. Hey,
Are we
hold on.
Let
Black Superman,
me
let him talk.
finish. Everything
Go
that
ahead.
you agree with is ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves. Now, Chris is proposing using a term which has legal implications, which is on the books, American Freedman, right? Which would identify exactly who we are talking about, which would eliminate Caribbeans, which would eliminate recent migration. I completely agree when the conversation is about when it refers to the delineation that is necessary for reparation. However, when you grab onto a title that is pseudo and identify by it, but you now want to deny the aspects of the title created by Tariq Nasheed. I create a philosophy which is pseudo, and then you run with that title and then say, but no, I'm not a part of the pseudo part of it. You're using a pseudo title but identifying with all the terms that are legally binding. So Chris's question is valid. What's wrong with American freedmen?
And the reason
Why?
why I'm proposing this is because it was after the Civil War. That's when we were legally designated freedmen. I'm saying and I've already stated this before. I think things like FBA, ADOS, African American, I think all of those terms have been here to confuse us. Huey P. Newton said, if you want to destroy racism, read your history. And after the Civil War, um, freed people, we were designated legally freedmen. That is a legally binding term. Why are we creating anything else? As freedmen, we need to be fighting for reparations. I agree with you there. As freedmen, we need to be fighting for certain resources. I agree with you there. But I do not want to put Tariq Nasheed's movement out in the forefront. I'm not interested in that. And let me say something in defense of the pseudo killers. I'm in their back chat. They don't claim to be scientists. They claim to have a knowledgeable base. I've seen them jump on Cedric before and beat him up in that back chat because he said something that wasn't there. When they study, and I have to agree with them, when they study, and I'm not glazing here, hopefully. When they study, they say have a scientific understanding of what it is you're reading. Most people jump on YouTube and are misrepresenting the source they read. So I don't want to insult that group over here. Do I disagree with some of the things they say? Of course, but that's another fight for another time. You get what I'm saying, bro?
But I'm not
So
even insulting them, bro. I was just watching 2 videos from Ankh last night, and this dude mispronounced and misread so many words. I got secondhand embarrassment.
I
I'm like, how are
agree,
these
but you
dudes claiming?
gotta
But come on, man,
hold
that's
on, but you
reading.
gotta deal with that with them on their channel. We talking about the American freedmen right there, which that's what I want to focus on right there, brother. Can we do
And again,
that?
I'm
And
not going
I
against
want
the
to.
grain. If most of us, the majority of us, was like, "Hey, man, we're gonna rock with this American Freedman label. This is what's gonna get us reparations. This is what's gonna get us some progress." I'm with it. I'm not gonna go against the grain. But for him to say FBA is pseudo, which would mean definition would mean it would be fake. Are we not foundational? Yes. Are we not black?
What have you
Yes. Have we
found?
not been? Have we
What?
not been here
Wait,
since the inception of this country, since before 1776? Yes. So
what,
we can be foundational Black Americans. Now, if you have a
bro?
problem with it just because Tariq Nasheed said it, I don't care who came up with it. I'm not trying to get the credit and be the superstar, uh, uh,
And you
be the
leave out two
HNIC. I think we want.
you
It's an
leave
ego.
and
It's
you
an ego
first
thing.
What,
leave out
brother?
two aspects of what an FBA represents.
Yeah,
Now you're being disingenuous. You see?
I got a question. I just got one question. Who are the founders? Can you name the
Mm,
founders?
mm.
The founders of what? You can't be a founder of a lineage. What are you
You
talking about, sir?
foundational Black Americans.
I can tell
So
you who
who are
coined the
the
term.
founders?
I
Can
can
you
tell you
name
who
the
coined the
founders?
term,
The Black
but it's not.
American founders?
It's not a it's not a foundation. It's a lineage of 43 million plus Black people. I can tell you who coined the
But
term.
it's
If you want to know who coined the term, it was, of
I,
course, Tariq Nasheed coined the term. But that
no,
doesn't mean that.
no,
Go ahead.
no,
Or oh,
no. He didn't coin the
excuse me. It
term.
wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't him. Excuse me. It was Dr. Claude Anderson who first coined the
Yes,
term. But Tariq Nasheed popularized it within the
he
last
made
five or
it
six
into
years.
a
No, he
movement or a
told
little
us that it was a
gang,
lineage. Yeah,
right?
he
But
told you that it
this
was a
and
lineage.
it's
That's what
not.
he
But it is
did.
a lineage. Are we
It's
not found?
not.
Have we
It's
not been
How can
here
it be a
since
not.
the inception
lineage
of
if
this
it's
country?
something brand new?
Just
How can
because
it
the
be
term is
lineage?
yeah, the term is brand new, but us being foundational to this country is not brand new. What are
How?
you talking about?
Name the founders.
There is no founder. It's a lineage. We've been here
So
since
how are
before
you calling it
1776.
foundational?
Because we've been here since before 1776, the foundation of this country called
Okay, so
America.
name the people that were here before
Oh, oh
1776.
You'd have to
Who
boy,
are
go
your
back into your
it
own
all
founders?
comes
genealogy
out
and find
now.
out where your ancestors here. But we just going into a rabbit hole now.
Wait a
Now you
minute.
throwing
Wait a
these.
minute. Hold on. No. You said it, Black Superman. You said it. When you said we were here before
So are
1776.
you telling me that
What
slaves
was
didn't
that?
arrive here in 1619? We
Excuse me.
weren't documented.
Hold on. I agree with that. Yes, we were documented as arriving here then. What were we called when we got off those boats? Who were when we got off those boats?
We was Negroes. We was black
We didn't
niggers,
say.
No,
Negroes.
we were not. That is untrue. That is. It's not even. Hold on.
Oh,
It's
okay,
not
well,
even
go
on
ahead,
that.
enlighten me.
Hold on.
Enlighten me. Go ahead,
Hold
enlighten
on.
me, sir.
Okay. If you go look at any slave sale, they will tell you where they were getting us from. They tell you I have Yoruba males. I have people from the Mendi tribes. They have them right there on the slave posters where they got them from. We got them from the Gold Coast, from the Rice Coast. We're bringing them in from there. It tells you who they were. That's what CDOT is telling you. And now you're on here. You're doing the same thing, bro. You're making these FBA arguments, but the original question that I posted still hasn't been answered. You're trying to attack Pan-Africanism. You're trying to attack at the same time the African ideology. You're trying to attack African identity with some shit Tariq Nasheed said, bro. That's all C-Dot saying.
But I
We can
literally
talk
said
like
three
gentlemen
times I'm
about
not
this.
attacking. I literally said three for the fourth time I'm
But
not
you're using
attacking
his
anything
saying
African.
good. Then okay, but you are using his talking points. Just to let you know.
Which
That's why
talking point?
everybody's
The
up here
talking point that
confused.
the talking point that says that we're foundational. That's just a
No,
fact.
the talking point. No, the talking point that you just stated. You said when we got off those boats, we were Negroes. No, we were not. We had designated African tribes. We were designated with those tribes. They know where they got us from.
Okay.
See, but it's
What's your
been
point?
through. My point is, it's been over time and time and time when you're not allowed to speak your language, when you're not allowed to sing your spiritual songs in the field, when you're not allowed to do anything, right? When your African identity is being clearly wiped out over time, you developed a new identity through oppression, family separation. You adopted the English-based Creole languages. You adopted Christianity. You adopted the legal status as a slave and then freed. All of those are part of our story. And that's the weakness of the FBA argument.
But sir, you're digressing. We're not saying it's not. Who's denying any part of that history? Let me say for the fifth time, we are not denying. Let me speak for myself. I am not denying any part of that history, any part of the transatlantic slave trade, any part of my ancestors coming over on a boat with your ancestors. If you
I did
dark
not
skinned
say
like me,
that you did. I did not say that you
because you
did,
just
but
tried
you
to give me a
were
whole
going.
history lesson and you were digressing.
Okay, this is the problem right here. I'm not digressing anything, and you're using that the wrong way. That's not what digress means. Digress means to get off the topic completely. I'm on
You
topic.
were off the topic
What you're
completely. You
doing.
got you got on a rant and a tangent about the slave trade and where we were
Okay, you know what?
geographically
You wanna
identified
know why I
as.
think? Hold on. This is crazy. I think the reason why you're acting like this is because you're wrong. You came up here very calm, and you
But I'm
made
wrong
these
about
emphatic
what?
statements. And when you saw how wrong you were, you get becoming a bit aggressive. I can stay real even keel because I already know you're wrong. You said we need to stop practicing Pan-Africanism. I asked you a question a long time ago, and you still haven't answered it. I said, what problem do you have with Pan-Africanism? And you
My
keep
answer
talking
was I
about
have
your
no
trip to
problem.
Africa.
My answer was no problem. So obviously we have a comprehension or a listening problem because I said for the third time I
Let's
have no
start there.
problem with Pan Africanism.
Can I
Have
ask
with
him a question?
Pan-Africanism. I want to start right there. Let's do a reset here.
Hmm.
Well, let's do a reset. I have absolutely no issue with Pan Africanism with
Black
any of my
Superman, are you
cousins.
there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
He talking.
Hello,
I
hello,
don't
yeah,
I don't.
hello,
Can you hear
hello,
me, Chris?
Can anybody hear
Chris,
him?
hello,
can you?
hello.
Yeah, I hear
Yeah,
him. Can
we
you hear
hear
me,
him,
Chris?
Chris. Can
Okay.
you hear us, Chris?
Well, let me make my
Now I'm gonna
stance
fall
clear.
off and
Well,
come
let me
back.
make my stance clear so we don't have any
Okay.
we don't have any confusion. I have no problem with the continent, my brothers, sisters, and cousins over there, or Pan Africanism. I'm saying it's time to go in a new direction. That's all I'm saying. So please, let's stop with these fallacies and let's
Okay.
stop with all these lies, man. These blatant lies of things that I didn't say. Judge me off
Well,
what you
got you.
heard out of my mouth, not what you think or what you're assuming.
Well, I
Cool.
got you. Well, my thing is because I'm still wondering, like, you keep saying we need to move away from unity. I don't understand why we should want to move away from unity because that's what Pan Africanism is about:
When have we ever
unifying
been unified?
diaspora and
There's no
black people. Oh,
unity.
wait, brother, hold on. Because that's the goal that you just said that you was trying to reach with FBA is to unify black people in this country, right? Ain't that the
Yes,
goal of
sir.
FBA?
Yes, sir. In this country, within the
Okay, then.
43
So that's
million plus.
practicing Pan Africanism. That is taking a bunch of black people from different parts of the country and getting them on one accord. We are not all the same type of black people in this country. I'm from the South. Chris is from up north. I know brothers out west. We all talk different. We run with different shit. We eat different shit, the whole 9.5. But the goal, the ultimate goal, is for unification. So Pan-Africanism is not your enemy to any type of movement that you're doing when you're talking about black people unifying. So when you keep trying to put Pan-Africanism in this box of opposition to what you're doing, you're not making any sense because it's what you need in order to collectively get black people to get on the same page and to want to work to one goal.
But you want to know something? You want to know something, T-Dot?
Go ahead, bro.
Because what's crazy when it's the Africanism, it's the Pan-Africanism. For some reason, that word is like allergic. It's like an allergen to them. Why? Because in their head, they think we have to work or reach out or go back to Africa. They don't see the connection that Pan-Africanism is actually speaking on. The historical connection of inhumanity that has been forced upon people of African and African American descent specifically. And that's what Pan-Africanism is ultimately speaking on and attempting to redress. Has nothing to do with recolonizing Africa or going back to the continent or building relationships with continental Africans over in Africa. If you want to do that, you can. But Pan-Africanism is all about building connections and building yourself up and your people up. And like you just said, building the black community up.
Exactly.
His brother been saying he been wanting to do.
And another thing, one thing I
Mr.
want to add.
Can I address what you said, Mr. C. Dot?
You can't go ahead, because then I want to ask you.
And I'm not even going to attack you, man, because we're not enemies, bro. Because I don't even know you personally.
Yeah, we're not here to attack each other. I'm not here to attack you, brother.
And I am from the West Coast, and I can say that what you said was false, man. Yes, we do have a connection because most people from California, no one's a native California. Our peoples all come from the South, and they migrated here during the Great Migration. And again, I'm not saying that I'm against anything African. What I'm saying is we need to move in a different direction and maybe think differently because we need to worry about the problems we have internally within the 43 million plus Black Americans that we have here, not including the diaspora. We can deal with that later after we deal with our problems internally.
Africanism, brother. That's what I keep trying to tell you. Like, you still not understanding that Pan-Africanism is an ideology about unity of Black people. So why would you keep trying to make it an opposition? It's not in opposition to anything that you're doing. It doesn't take away focus from Black American problems. It doesn't do that. So why do you keep trying to make it out to be that when it's not that? The one thing that I have a problem with that I already told you about FBA is the fact that your goal is to separate. That is the number one thing that y'all always going around talking about. How y'all can't stand Africans. Y'all can't stand the Caribbean. All of these people are tethers. Oh, they ain't do nothing without us. And without us, you just said 80% of everything done happens with us. Like the ridiculousness of the stuff that you be saying, bro. When it come to trying to boost up FBA, it's like you got to knock down everybody else. And that's not the way that we should be moving as Black. That's not going to unify Black people in this country.
I think we got a comprehension problem because you, for the last 30 minutes, have never heard me down or disrespect any Caribbean or African, man. So please,
I'm not talking about you in particular. I'm talking about FBA. I'm not talking about you.
Okay, so now you're making blanket statements and you're judging.
This conversation.
So now you're judging and making blanket statements behind a couple of YouTube videos or some posts you may.
I'm talking about the person who created it. I don't know you. I know Tariq Nasheed. I know he's the one who made it a movement. I don't know you to do that. So I'm talking about the guy who made it a movement is always talking about how other Black people, Africans, Caribbeans, all of these other Black people are separate, and we should stay separated, and we should develop this dislike or this hate for these people, and I don't agree with it. That's the only thing I'm saying. At not one point in time do you hear me talk. I can even ask you this, bro. What has FBA done politically? What have y'all done? I can talk about ADOS all day and tell you all the political stuff that they have been able to accomplish. What have y'all done?
I don't have a problem with ADOS. FBA is not a political group, my brother. It's just
what is it then?
It's a lineage. It's identifying yourself and separating and having your own separate identity and not being bunched in. Hold on, and not being.
You see?
Okay, let me explain, man. Because everybody's separate. When you go to Nigeria, he's gonna say I'm a Nigerian. When you go to South Africa, he's gonna give you his tribe and where he's from. I'm Zulu.
That's the problem. That's what I keep trying to tell you, bro. That's the freaking problem. Separation is not going to get you nowhere. It's not going to get you closer to the goal you're trying to achieve. Just to sit here and just make separation your only focus, it does nothing. Nothing whatsoever. And it shows because FBA has not accomplished anything politically, financially, institutionally at all. There's nothing that FBA as a movement can say that y'all have accomplished as far as progression for people in this country at all. If you can name one thing that y'all have done as a movement, as an organization, as anything, I'll shut the fuck up. I'll apologize.
It's not a movement. I can tell you what I've done personally, but it's not a movement. It's not a group. It's not a clan. It's not a crew. It's not a gang. What are you talking about? Don't expect it to be a political group because it's not. We don't lean either right nor left. So I can only speak for myself personally. So stop trying to categorize it and make it into a group or a gang or a crew, man. You keep trying to run with this false narrative thinking you eating and you just talking,
I'm asking you for the purpose. What is y'all purpose? What have y'all done? What have y'all accomplished?
The purpose is just to be.
What he just said was key.
Sabio, I meant to ask you a question too, man. You just talking, man. You talk a lot. What have you done as a Pan-Africanist, brother? Because I've actually set up businesses internationally. I'm actually building a bridge and bridging the gap between Black America and Africa. So by definition, wouldn't I be more of a Pan-Africanist than you? Because you ain't doing nothing but sitting on YouTube talking, and you've never been to the continent. You don't know no one there. You're not doing anything
is an organization.
I don't have a problem with ADOS, Yvette Cornell.
That's what you got to compare yourself to. You shouldn't compare yourself with Pan-Africanism because Pan-Africanism don't have nothing to do with what you're talking about. And if you already admitted that you are practicing Pan-Africanism by working with other Black people in order to progress Black people.
What are you doing as a Pan-Africanist?
You're practicing Pan-Africanism.
Right. So I told you what I'm doing. So now what are you doing? So now what are you doing? What are you doing? Wait, what have you accomplished and what have you done other than talk on YouTube about being a Pan-Africanist? I'll wait. Go ahead, sir. You got the floor.
I just told you, bro. Pan-Africanism is not an organization. FBA is. So therefore, you have to produce something as an organization. Pan-Africanism is an ideology. I need you to go look up the definition. You've been saying
it's a political movement for the last hour. So what have you done personally to push Pan-Africanism forward? I just need you to go look up the definition.
Go look up the definition of ideology. And then go look up the definition of organization or movement.
So I guess the answer
is I want you to come back and be able to express.
So the answer is you've done nothing but talk on YouTube is the answer.
Brother, I don't even do a lot of talking on YouTube, honestly and truthfully.
So my question was, what have you done to push Pan-Africanism forward? What are you doing or what have you done to push Pan-Africanism forward as an ideology, as a political group, as a movement, as a total representation for Black people? Personally, what have you done? You asked me and I told you.
Because it's an ideology, so I live by it. I look at my brothers and sisters as my brothers and sisters. I look at other Black people as I no longer look at Black people as threats to me. All of these different things are based on ideology, not based on an organization or a movement. You're talking about you're trying to compare an organization or a movement.
Everything you said was just basic human decency.
Brother, you're trying to compare. When I said you should compare FBA to ADOS, that's because it's an organization and a movement. So therefore, that should be your comparison. And compared to ADOS, FBA has done absolutely nothing whatsoever.
But I'm not comparing it to anything. If you ask me, I think it should
it's
combine.
It's a movement and an organization. Ideology. You just try to compare it to Pan-Africanism.
I think that FBA and ADOS should combine somehow and come up with something. So no, I'm not going against that. No, I think whatever Yvette Cornell got going on is wonderful. I watch her. I listen to her. She's very intelligent. I'm rocking with the movement as well. You can label me ADOS. I'm with the movement. I'm rocking with it. So please don't try to butt us against each other. I'm not trying to compare it. I'm with it. I'm with both.
So why not just be ADOS? What's the difference between ADOS and FBA?
I think it's the same. There is no difference. It's the same.
So what's the point of FBA then?
It's just two different names. I think that's why I just said there needs to be some meaning of it.
Bro, this is what I'm trying to get you to understand, bro. You keep trying to reinvent the wheel. because it's something that already exists. And now you saying, well, I'm just repping this because even though it's the same thing as that,
I'm not
I'm on this
repping nothing.
side. You're basically
I'm
it's just another separated organization.
No, it's not. It's
And
not
the
an
whole
organization. It's a
key
lineage.
to it
Again, for the
is for
tenth
more
time, it's a
separation.
lineage. How can it be an organization when it's a lineage? It's not an organization. Stop
It's
saying
not
that
a
because you keep throwing out
lineage.
these
It's
false
not.
narratives.
It's not a lineage. It's not. It's a made up term. It's not a lineage. You just
All
keep
terms are
calling
made
it
up,
that.
sir. All terms are made up. What are you talking about?
So that's my point. You just keep calling it that. You already admitted it's a new term.
Yeah, I
Super
said that.
new.
It's a relatively new term. Yeah, I said that. What are you
Super
talking
new.
about? So
Extra
what?
new. Okay then. So what's the point of it? If it already if it's something that already exists that covers all of the fields and areas that you're talking about, what is the point of FBA other than to create another gang?
To my recollection, for one, it's not a gang, and for two, they came out around the same time, and it's the same
No,
basic
they didn't.
ideology.
They
So it
don't.
doesn't
No,
matter.
no,
You can be
no,
either
no, no.
or.
False.
Tomato,
False.
tomato. You can be both.
No,
Tomato,
no, they did
tomato.
not come
We
out
still the
around the
same.
same time. ADO's been around. FBA is super new.
I'm with both of them. I'm with ADOS and FBA. Yeah,
Exactly.
don't try to
You've
turn us
made my
against each other.
point.
We
Then
both we're
you've
both
made.
black Americans. We're all descendants of slaves. So whatever title
What's
you
the
want to
point
rock
of
under,
them,
it's
though?
okay with me.
If you already have a term, a descendant of a slave, if you already have a term that you're going by, what was the point of creating the FBA if they the same thing?
I can't tell you what the point was of Dr. Claude Anderson or Tariq Nasheed coining that term, but it stuck and it gained traction, and just the basic definition of it resonated with me and a lot of other black Americans. So
Gang
that's what we're
banging.
rocking
You
with.
from out
It's
west.
not it's
You
not
know
a
about
gang,
gang
bro. Come
banging.
on, man. You
So this is probably what attracts you to it because it reminds you of you feeling like, yo, I'm repping this just to the hood, da da da.
now
It
now
gives you
now I'm repping that, brother.
that
I'm a
feeling.
father and a business owner. I'm a father, a husband, and a business owner. Man, now you want to
I
throw the
did.
gang
Me
title
too.
on
We
me.
both.
Now you want to
I
throw the
get
gang
all of that.
title on me.
That's fine. But I'm
Now I'm a
telling
gang
you,
banger. Now I'm a gang banger. Go
because
ahead, man.
that's what it is. You saying something already existed, and then you decided to jump on the bandwagon because somebody else created something else. Even though it's doing the exact, even though it's about the same thing, even though the new thing that you want to claim now ain't doing half of what the old gang
No,
was
to,
doing.
to, to be honest with you, if you let me talk for about 30 seconds, I can tell you, I think it was birthed and it stemmed out of people getting, we'll say for lack of a better word, Pan-Africanism fatigue, because we noticed and we started to see that we was the only ones really pushing Pan-Africanism.
Let's
And
slow
if
it
we,
down
if
for
we,
a moment. Let's slow it down for a moment. What strides or what progress has FBA made?
it's not a group. I can only tell you what I've done personally. I don't speak for 43 million plus black Americans. And it's not a
But you can tell
political
us
group.
what. Hold on, slow down right there. You don't see a contradiction in that? You're
No,
telling us
what?
what Pan African is. Stop. 1 second. You're telling us what why we shouldn't be. Uh, um, we should not have a Pan Africanist philosophy. But when I ask you for progress concerning FBA, you can't tell me what progress you guys have made.
Yeah, well, the progress I can tell you that we've made, if since you want to say politically, is we're now being recognized as our own ethnic group. So when you do see some of these
Where?
crimes and some of these
Bella,
things
Where?
that's
y'all have.
going on, we're now being
Where?
identified for where we're
Hold
from.
on. Slow down.
Um,
Slow down.
we can use a
Where?
source like CNN or one of the major media outlets
CNN.
when they're
Okay, stop
reporting.
right
Wait,
there.
when they're reporting these
Stop.
stories, they're
Stop.
not just
No.
blanket. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Go
No.
ahead. Go ahead, sir. Go
Okay,
ahead.
hold on. This is what I'm talking about right here. They are saying they are labeling you that because that's how you guys self-identify. They're just sitting up there. They're no one's recognized us as FBA. No one's giving you guys any bills. No one's giving you guys anything.
No, it's
They're just saying
delineation. It's people
FBA.
are being identified under their own ethnic group, and basically,
I'm sorry,
go
FBA is not an
ahead.
ethnicity.
Right. Show me some paperwork with FBA on it.
What are you talking about?
Show me a job application that asks if you FBA.
We got Pan African James in the building.
Yeah, I think
What's
they're doing
good
that
with
out
you,
here in
brother?
California. As a
Hold
matter
on.
of fact, it's weird that you mention that because I think they're going to start doing that in California next
Stop.
year. When you're filling out for identity, it's going to have a space for Black American. It's going to have a space for different nationalities, and one of them, I think, and don't quote me on this. Let me look it up again. I'm about 80% sure is going to have a slot for Black Americans or Freedmen or whatever, but it's going to identify us as who we are.
Okay, real quick,
So
we got Pan African James in the bill. Go ahead, Pan African. That was
I got just a
crazy.
couple questions to ask the brother, right?
That was
Um,
crazy.
so I assume that the brother is at least in his 40s, right? Black Superman.
Yeah, I'm 40.
Okay, so bam. So when did you adopt this term here? Like how long would you say
It's
you've been calling yourself FBI?
it's a relatively new term. I wouldn't say it's even
No,
older
I,
than 6 years
I
old.
wanna like how
About
many
about
years?
5 years.
I'm
About
talking about you.
5
I'm
years.
not talking
About
about
5
anybody
years.
else.
About
Hold on, I'm
about
talking about
5
you.
years. About
So you
5
said
years.
you've been doing this for 5 years personally.
Yeah, personally.
Okay. So now why did you do this?
Why did I personally do it? Because I was attracted to uh, just the basic definition of it, man. Identifying myself as a foundational Black American, having traveled around the world, been to 4 different continents. I didn't want to be seen as just a blanket African. I wanted to be known and embrace my culture and my identity
Okay,
as who I was.
slow down,
Go
Black
ahead.
Superman. Check it out. So you said you wanted to embrace your culture, right? So isn't African American your culture?
African American is just a term that came out in the 80s. Jesse Jackson, I think, coined that
Okay,
term.
but hold on. Be fair. This term just came out 5 years ago. You just said,
Yes,
right?
to answer your question, yes, we were calling ourselves at one point African
So it
Americans.
don't matter about when it came out and trying to act like it was new
Well, you
in
just asked me
1980.
when did
Yeah, hold
FBA
on.
came out, and you wanted me to give you when I started calling myself
Listen.
FBA. You were
Hold
pretty adamant about
hold
that
on, Black Superman. You saying because that came out in 1980, it really don't got no validation. Then why did you bring that up?
because that was your first question of how old is
Well, hold on,
FBA and what year did I
no.
start. You were pretty
I'm
adamant
asking
about years, and then when I threw it back at you and said, yeah, at one point in
you. I
time we
didn't
were calling
ask you.
ourselves
I didn't
African
ask you
Americans.
about a year. That ain't what I asked you. I asked you why do you feel like the term African American was not sufficient and that you needed to start calling yourself FBA. Then you said that because it came out in 1980, it was like
That's not the
basically a
reason
new
why. The
term.
reason is why nobody else is calling themselves a hyphenated term. We are Black Americans, if anything, but we just Americans. But no one else is calling themselves a hyphenated term anymore. That
Okay,
term is outdated. It's outdated.
so basically you said you don't see no value in associating with where your ancestors come from.
No, I never said that for the 10th time, and I don't know if you just got
I'm
up
just
here or
saying,
you
but
didn't
it
listen.
sounds
No,
like that's
no,
what
no, I don't. No, I just
saying.
answered you, sir. No, I don't. So now you got to come with a different direction. I don't have a problem.
So basically, because you heard FBA from somebody else and it sounded cool, that's what you rocking with. That's the only real reason.
No,
Why?
not because it sounded cool. Because I identified with the basic definition of it. Let's stick to it.
And then I asked you again. So what was wrong with African American?
African American was outdated and it didn't correctly identify us as who we were.
So from 50 years from now, when FBA become outdated, we gonna switch again? When are we gonna
We might. It's evolving. It's ever changing until we come up with a term that we all agree with and the majority of us is rocking with.
What's wrong with
We
African
relies on
American?
pseudo components to what is an
I just
FBA.
told you it's
Yeah,
outdated, sir. It was outdated.
what outdates it?
Yeah, well, only reason you want to switch from African American because it's outdated. That's what you're saying.
Well, you saying we identifying as 2 different continents? Wait, so you saying we identifying as 2 different continents now?
How
That's
can you
our roots.
identify with a
Everybody does.
concept that is
Everybody in
pseudo?
America is an
No,
immigrant.
they don't.
For the
No,
most
they
part,
don't.
other than
How
Native
can we be?
Americans, everybody else is an
How can we be
immigrant.
from 2 different continents? How are we 2 different continents? How are we identifying as 2 different continents?
Bro. Everybody, Irish Americans, German Americans, all the way Ukrainian American, like it goes down the
Yeah,
list,
those
bro.
are
I don't
immigrants. Those are
understand what
immigrants that
world you
probably
living
came
in.
here through. Those are immigrants who probably came here through Ellis Island. My ancestors didn't
Everybody,
come here through Ellis Island. My ancestors have been here since
on the
before
boat.
the inception of this country.
Your ancestors came here on a boat.
Yeah, before there was something called a so-called America. They didn't come here as immigrants.
That's an immigrant. What are you talking about?
That's an immigrant, and we were born
So you saying we came here as immigrants?
of free will.
You don't have no proof. Just like you might well just be believe in the Bible. You don't have no proof of how you got
what
here.
is you talking, man? You a goof, man. You know, I'm not even disrespectful, but what is you
proof.
talking about, man? What did you at least have an intelligent conversation? Have some decorum, man. Don't disrespect me over the phone. Have some decorum.
You're doing a sleight of hand because
hold up. How do you know you indigenous to America, Black Superman?
I never said I was indigenous to America, but I can tell you I can trace my lineage back to around 1840, 1860, 1870 without a problem.
All of us
We
can.
agree with that.
All of us
Yeah,
However,
so
the
can.
there
term
you go. So I can tell
FBA,
you that for a
the
fact.
term
So I can tell
FBA
you for a
carries
fact
a
that my
certain
family has been
amount
here at
of
least that
baggage with
long.
it. Do you agree
But
that the
yeah,
term FBA carries a certain amount of baggage with it? There are three components to what makes an FBA. Do you agree with that? So you cannot sit up here and flim flam and selectively choose one aspect of FBA, which is African American, which is ADOS, or Freedman, which Chris is trying to use as a term, which he's proposing. So I don't understand how interjecting the term FBA gives you any validity. It requires two components that are absolutely pseudo. And you're doing the pseudo judo right now because you said prior to the Americans. What does that mean? Were you here before? Were you here before Columbus? As the narrative is indicating, so you see, you're doing the pseudo judo flim flam, and that's what
Okay,
we're
here
talking
we
about.
go. Hey, y'all, they finna say pseudo 1,000 times and flim flam 1,000 times without actually proving nothing. Go ahead.
well, I'll say this here.
brother.
I'll say this though. Hold on. I'll say this real quick. When you say African American is outdated, why is black not outdated?
I think
That's something that we didn't give ourselves.
because I
That's
think
something
black
that
is
they
something.
called
I
us.
think black is something that
Is it all right if
universally.
I finish?
You, go ahead.
Okay, cool. Wonderful. They gave us the term black. We didn't get off the boats called that. That's an outdated term. If you look at me, if you look at CDOT, if you look at probably yourself, we're not necessarily black. We're all different types of shades and colors. That's what an African is. Black is just something that we accepted. You want to be called foundationally black, which is weird, but you
Well,
don't want to be
I think the
called
term black is. I think the
African
term black
American.
universally. I
It
think
don't
the
got
term
no
black
problem with
universally is an identifier for Black Americans. I think
watch this. It
universally
don't got
that's a.
no problem with the American retaining the American. See that?
Yeah, that's
Bro,
the
we are
wild part.
American. Bro, we are American. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
oh,
We
so
are
we
That's
ain't
the
American.
so
wild
we not
part.
Africans, is what you saying?
No, we are Africans, but we're more American than we are African.
We're not
Okay, that's
genetically.
all
We're
right.
not
Go
Bro,
ahead.
I can take you right now. I'll take you right now to
genetically. You're not
Mozambique. I'll
though,
take
bro.
you right now to Mozambique. You wouldn't last a week. You would be begging to come back to America and for
He
Western
probably
That's what
would.
I'm talking
conveniences.
about.
He
Yeah,
That's
probably
what
Yeah,
I'm talking
would.
exactly. So
He
you're
probably
more
would. He's not
American. So
home.
you're more American than you are African. That's what I said. Point proven. You're more American, bro. Trust me. You love Walmart.
Yeah,
You
but you're
love
not answering the
Jordans. You
about. That
question.
love
ain't got
Burger
nothing to
So,
do
King.
with
You
so
love
now,
McDonald's. You're more
so
American
now,
than you are
so
black.
now
Just
you're
So,
stop faking the funk.
conflating, you're
right. So that
go
conflating
does
ahead.
that
concept,
mean
you're
what?
conflating culture with genetic roots. And you're doing it on
Yeah,
purpose. You're
No, the only
doing it
thing I
on
said was
purpose.
you're
That
more
is
American than you are African. You
disingenuous.
love Walmart. You love going
So
to
that
Safeway.
is
You
yeah.
love going to
Are you
Kroger.
disingenuous
You love
you
conversation.
Amazon. You
proud of
love
We're
that?
all these
talking
Western
about we're
conveniences. So
Are
talking
you
stop,
about
proud of that?
stop trying
ethnicity.
to play, man.
We're
Obviously, you guys
talking
have never
about
traveled.
ethnicity, and you're segueing to culture, which is
Yeah.
disingenuous. Because when we talk about ethnogenesis, which we all agree, we are not African by in terms of culture. We have been westernized. Chris has been saying it over and over. So what the point, my brother, Pan African James is making? That's a identity, a genetic and ethnicity conversation. So you're doing the bait and switch, brother, which is disingenuous with this level of people up
But
here.
I haven't once said that anybody should not. If you personally want to identify as Pan Africanist or fine, God bless you. Go ahead. That's on you. I'm not saying you right. I'm not
He's
saying you
doing
wrong.
it
I'm saying
again. He's
personally,
straw manning what I said in real
my
time.
opinion is it's outdated and we
Watch
need
this.
to
Hold
move in
on.
a
But let me
different
ask you this.
direction.
Let me ask you this, Black Superman. Peep this out. What percentage of the 42 million African Americans or FBAs practice Pan Africanism? Give me that percentage.
How could I give you that number, man? That no one
You
knows
know,
that number.
you know,
No,
it's
I'll be
very,
lying.
very,
I'll be one
very
of these
low.
pseudoscientists. I'll be one of these.
Everybody, we
Listen,
don't
listen,
even.
listen, listen, brother. I'll be one of these pseudo-scientists if I sit up here and
Okay, well,
lied and told you,
let
I
me
know the
move you to
exact
the side. Hold
percentage.
on, let me
No,
move
we
you to
You
don't
the
talking
know.
side.
about
Then.
your neck, bro?
Hold on. C dot in
Yeah.
America. What percentage would you say of African Americans practice Pan
What
Africanism?
percentage would you say, or what percentage would you say
I'm not
scientifically
talking to you.
that
You didn't want to
a
answer the
census has been
question, so
taken?
I moved on and I'm asking another brother because you didn't want to answer the question. So, see that what percentage would you say the African American community practice Pan Africanism?
Knowingly, I would say it's a very small percentage. Maybe 10%, 5 to
Okay,
ten
that's
percent
we
knowingly
right on
practice it.
point because you said something to the brother earlier. When you started practicing Pan-Africanism, you knew not to attack your brother. It gave you a different way of thinking, and
Right.
that's what he don't understand. It's an ideology of African unity globally. And the term African American didn't just come from Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson was just the person who brought it to the forefront of the people. But the background of that information comes from Africana studies. Our historians thought of what was best for us to call ourselves, and they brought it out to the figurehead that at the time, because Malcolm's dead at the time, and Martin's dead. So the person that they had at the time, Jesse Jackson, was running for president. So some of you people are too young to even know what was going on. That's what I hate about it.
The question is, I want to continue to ask him is, how can how can the philosophy of Pan-Africanism be outdated? How can Black unity be outdated? Because that's what Pan-Africanism is.
But I never said Black unity is outdated. You don't have to be a Pan-Africanist to love your brother and to know not to harm your brother.
But hold on. You said that Pan-Africanism is outdated. Pan-African encompasses Black unity. It's an American philosophy. It was developed here. You're sitting up here saying that you're a foundation. Hold on. You're saying that you're a foundational Black American. Everything about you is American. I agree. You talk about the food, you talk about the history, you talk about the oppression. But when we talk about our philosophical statements that we made over here in this country as freedmen, and we bring up Pan-Africanism, all of a sudden you're denying that element. This is where the FBA argument is weak at. And this is why you're getting so much pushback.
But I never.
You want the goose without the gander.
Yeah, and you can't misconstrue what Pan-Africanism is. Again, it is not telling you this is your identity. It is unifying us here in the West. It is a movement that has nothing or little to do with the continent itself. It has to do with Black existentialism, giving us an identity and a plight for our rightful position in this hemisphere. It is not telling us to go back to Africa. But again, where did it come from? When we were just considered slaves and niggers, it was essential that we told our story. Like my brother Pan-African James was saying, it came up out of Africana studies. Pan-Africanism produced Africana studies. It produced all these aspects of our identity. Whether you're conscious or unconscious of it, you engage in Pan-Africanism. So again,
that seems funny because Pan-Africanism is like a brainchild of W.E.B. Du Bois.
To the conversation.
Wait a minute.
Okay, well that's funny because Pan-Africanism is a brainchild. W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey. Let me read you some of the core ideas. Pan-Africanism believes people of African descent share a common history, culture, and destiny, forming a single nation beyond geographical borders. Promotes cooperation, solidarity among Africans and the diaspora to overcome oppression and achieve progress. It celebrates African achievements, heritage, cultural expression, and the counter Eurocentric narratives. So, in theory, there's nothing wrong with that.
Stop right there. Is that an American-based philosophy?
Absolutely.
I just told you that was the brainchild of W.E.B. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you, was it an American-based philosophy?
Yes, of course. It was birthed here in America. Yes. I'm agreeing with you. Yes.
Now, I want you to look at that philosophy and explain to all guys. We want to hold him to this because he said that it was outdated. Can you show us what's outdated about this philosophy? You just said you agreed with it, bro.
I gave you some of the core ideas, and what's outdated is the celebrating of the diaspora part of it and the African achievements and heritage and cultural expressions. We're we're embracing what we've done here in the Americas and our lineage.
So you want to celebrate Eurocentrism? That's what you mad about is the fact that Black people want to get away from celebrating Eurocentrism and want to focus more on African centrism.
Go ahead, C-Dot.
I want to answer that question. You were worried because you understand that we were forced to assimilate to European culture. You understand that as a black man, you have to understand that we were forced to assimilate to European cultures in this
And through,
country.
of course, and through that
Okay, then.
assimilation,
So
we
you
formed
telling
our
me you
own
want to
culture. Through that
celebrate the Europe? You want to celebrate the assimilation more so than what you actually are rooted from. You telling me I need to cut off what I was rooted from, and now I need to celebrate what I was forced into.
No, I'm saying the idea of Pan Africanism is outdated. And I'm saying celebrate the last 500 years of what your ancestors have done here.
That's what
That ain't
we
got.
did.
How does
What's
Pan
wrong with that?
Africanism does not discount anything that black people have done? They just pointed out to you that you named a black American
Hold on.
who
Hold on.
created
Hold on.
Pan African. I mean, who philosophized about Pan Africanism? They just
See that.
gave you that, and yet
See that. Watch this.
still. You like,
Doc,
nah,
watch this.
bro, nah, we need, that's outdated. For us to be worried about what's happening with black people around the diaspora is outdated. We
But
shouldn't
watch
care
this.
about the cultures we come from. We shouldn't care about it. We should be more focused on
Which
the
culture
culture
is it
that
that
we
you
were
exactly come from?
assimilated
Where have you
to.
traced your roots back to? What culture exactly is it that you come
Well,
from?
what I'm trying to
Which
figure out
geographical
here is,
location and which tribe? I'd like to
well,
know,
okay,
please.
so now that's a
Now it's
pivot. We're not pivoting from this.
Super
now it's
fit.
Red
We're not
Herring
pivoting.
time.
Okay, we're not pivoting. That's yeah. Thank you, thank you. We're not doing that. You're not gonna ask him what he traced his lineage back to, right? You already made the statement that you could trace your lineage all the way back to 1870 here in the United States of America, and none of us are disagreeing with you on that. The thing that you stated was, and I can't let you move from that. What problem do you have with the Pan African movement? You said you agreed with everything that we've accomplished over here in the Americas. But when we talk about Pan Africanism, which is an American based philosophy created by Africans or freedmen, or what you deem as FBA, all of a sudden you want to get away from that. You're contradicting yourself.
I'm
So
not
can
getting
you
away from
point
it.
out?
I told you I have no
One
problem with
second, one
Pan
second.
Africa.
You're talking fast. That's a tactic. Just 1 second. I need you to show me within that definition, what did you have a problem with? And I want you to tell it to the audience because I want to be able to hear you because I didn't really understand you. You kind of started stumbling a little bit. Just tell me what problem do you have?
There's no problem with the basic ideology and theory of Pan Africanism. My opinion is that it's outdated and it's time to pivot and move towards something
What
different.
makes black unity? Thank you. There's your
You don't have
answer.
to be a Pan
What makes?
Africanist to practice black unity.
But you
Stop trying
said
to
that. Hold on, hold on,
join the
hold on.
two. Go ahead.
How does it make? How does that make it outdated? What you're saying? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm saying we've been practicing Pan Africanism since the 1800s and it hasn't gotten us anywhere.
But you
What
just agreed
progress?
only a small.
We
Wait a minute.
just told you that
That
the
doesn't even make
African
sense.
Americans only about 10% of African Americans today only
Crazy.
even know about Pan Africanism. So what are
But
you
check
That's
this
talking
out.
about?
crazy.
But check this out. But check this out.
So I don't even understand what your argument is and
What
what stance
what's
you
been
taking. All you're
overlooked?
doing is trying to debunk what I'm saying, but you haven't took a stance or on anything.
Well, the
So
fact that you
so
guys
so we
have, hold on,
actually
the
have.
fact that your movement, your FBA movement,
It's
you
not
said
my
out of your
movement.
own mouth. Hold on, exactly. The fact that the movement that you participate in hasn't garnered you any progress is enough. I already
So
know you're wrong, bro. You guys have
so
done
Chris
nothing.
so Chris, check this out. This I've been sitting back listening for a minute, and he said some things, and my phone died when he was going over what hasn't been done by FBA, and and that right there to let him know that not only is FBA not worth anything, it's actually trying to rip off the history that our people have already put down. And it's crazy that he will say some of the things that he's saying, and he'll overlook things like Black History Month, Black History Week, um, all the museums, the African American History Museums, and all the things that we have done in this country to try to usurp it and force it on people or a group or a group name because he thinks the ideology they were using, Pan Africanism. That's what Harriet Tubman was using. That's what Nat Turner was using. That's what Denmark Vesey was using. They were all Pan Africanists, even though they wasn't using the word Pan Africanism. These are Pan Africans though. You don't get it because you hate being You dislike the word Pan-African. You think the word Pan-African makes us have to have relationships with the continent of Africa or go back to Africa or something weird. There's something totally blocking your thinking. If you're going to act like none of those people who were risking their lives and other people's lives to free themselves and others weren't Pan-African.
Man, what are you? Man, y'all just doing a lot. So where's the unity on the continent of Africa? There's no unity there. First of all, let's start there.
The
And
continent isn't
there's no
Pan-African.
the idea of
Bro, wait.
Pan-Africanism
One
is
thing.
dead.
Let me answer
Oh
that.
my
I want to
goodness.
answer that real fast, okay? Because you keep saying it like Pan-Africanism is something that came from Africa in order to just tell everybody else that Africa's
Without
united.
Africa,
So
there is no
everybody, listen,
Pan-Africanism.
hold on,
Without Africa, without the continent.
wait, bro, wait. Because before I asked you if you had researched Pan-Africanism, and usually people like you, when you come to this firm, you know what I mean, hate for something that, or dislike or disagreement with something that you don't research, then you usually come to these conclusions to where, oh well, nobody's doing it here, nobody's doing that. Pan-Africanism is a struggle around the world. That's the goal of Pan-Africanism. It's not just about, we understand, yes, there's tribalism on the continent, but Pan-Africans in Africa are fighting against the tribalism, because we understand that tribalism is something that has us by the throat. That is something that has diasporan, Africans everywhere around the world around the throat. Is tribalism, is selfishness. Those things are things that
get away with that.
It's funny that y'all said
those
that, 'cause like
things,
Brother Chris just said,
but they keep
like
us.
you guys are saying, Pan-Africanism is only practiced by the 5 to 10% of Black Americans here. It's not practiced nowhere else around the world, and
Well, here,
very
It
small
is,
numbers.
dude. You
let
keep
me
saying that, but you haven't researched
But
it.
you just
You
hold on,
cannot say
by
that
your
if you
own
have not done the
admission, by
research.
your own admission,
One second.
by your own
One
admission,
second.
you just said that there's about 5 to 10 Black
One
Americans.
second, because I want to give it back to C. Dot.
Can I have a second?
Go ahead.
One second. One second. Then I'm gonna give it back to Gus because I am at work. I'm gonna give it back to the panel here. Black Superman, I want you to give me a direct answer here. Why should we embrace FBA if it hasn't made any significant progress in 5 years that you've been a part of it? Why should
First of
we
all,
embrace
stop
it?
trying to look at FBA as a collective group, because it's not. It's just you recognizing that your lineage and your ancestors were here since prior to the inception, probably prior to the inception of this country
Wait,
called America, and saying that your
Wait.
ancestors are
No,
foundational
no.
and didn't
y'all
Stop.
got
come
a
here as
flag and
immigrants.
everything,
Just
bro.
like you said, most people can't go back to
No.
1776. Go ahead, man. Go
Okay,
ahead.
thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Hold on. Slow
Go
down.
ahead.
Let me get this real quick. I asked you a simple question, and I'm gonna ask you again. Why should we embrace FBA? Let me ask it to you a different way. Why should we embrace FBA if it hasn't made any significant progress in 5 years that you've been part of it? I heard you tell Pan-African James that. I can listen very well. Now you're trying to pivot out of it.
I'm not trying to pivot out of
Why
nothing.
should
You're
we
trying to
embrace
lock me
that
down. You're
when
trying
you
to
guys?
lock me down to it. You're trying to lock me down and lock me into a statement that I didn't
Okay,
make,
this
and
is
give me a loaded question.
crazy.
You're trying to. So let me answer
I'm
your
not asking
question.
you a load.
Let me answer
Hold
your
on.
question. Why should we embrace it? We should embrace it. Go ahead.
Stop. Okay, stop. All right, you're being disingenuous. You're being very disingenuous here. You already know we disagree. But if we're going to find a place where we can agree at, let's see if we can find it there. Let's see if we can find somewhere where we agree. What is the philosophy of FBA, and why should we embrace it and relinquish something that is asking for unity and asking for Africans around the world to create our own destiny for ourselves? Why are you telling us to get rid of that and embrace FBA? You've been up here the entire time. And if you have not been doing that, then you only up here with talking points. And it's a very anti-African stance that you're making up here.
Okay.
You should
Again,
tell us this is
by
why.
definition, I can't be
Shut the
anti-African. But
almost said it. Stop. You're not listening. You're reacting. Why should we put down something that teaches African unity, Black unity, and pick up something such as FBA? I've asked you this. You're filibustering this question. You
We should
already
pick up
said it hasn't
FBA.
done
We
any.
should
You
pick up
guys,
FBA
thank you.
because FBA is a celebration of our achievements
Don't
of
nobody
our
say nothing.
ancestors here within the last 500 years on this continent. It's not
Hmm.
putting us under a blanket term and having us, mixed in and bundled up with a bunch of other things. It's celebrating our own ethnicity, that we had an ethnogenesis, and we have our own culture, our own music, our own heroes, and it's just basically celebrating your Black American
Thank
celebration.
you. There's your answer. Well, hold on. Nobody say nothing because I'm going to give it back to y'all now. Was that hard to say? Okay, now this is where you contradict yourself at. Pan Africanism teaches the same thing.
Thank you. I couldn't hold it.
It teaches the same thing.
No,
So now let me
Pan
ask you,
Africanism focuses on the diaspora.
what are the three
FBA
components?
focuses on the
What are
43
the
million
three
plus
components?
Black Americans
Excuse
What are
me.
here.
the three
Hold on.
components to make you an
Hold
FB?
on. Say it. I'm gonna give it back to you. I promise. I don't have a lot of time. Trust me, guys. I'm gonna give it back. All right. You're saying FBA does what? I want you to be clear. Go ahead. Take your time when you say this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said Pan Africanism involves the diaspora and blacks
Mm-hmm.
globally.
Mm-hmm.
Foundational Black Americans is honed in and focused on the 43 million plus Black Americans here and taking care of
Mm-hmm.
business within our own lineage and ethnicities before we start reaching out and doing other things. So it's just
Okay.
celebrating us here.
Okay. So once again, the core function of what the core argument here is what we're doing here. Pan African celebrates that. Pan African starts here in the Americas. The philosophy, it's American based. That's what we've been up here telling you.
Black
I want to give it back to the
existentialism.
panel because I think you're just contradicting yourself and you're coming with a lot of talking points that are easily answered.
And you know what? And you know
But
what,
he
Chris?
doesn't want to
You guys
deal
can
with
take
what
it away.
he doesn't want to deal with what FBA is and creating
It's
a
like
completely non-sequitur conversation. Pan Africanism is a philosophy of unity. It doesn't say who you are or tell you to call yourself any particular thing. It lets every African in the diaspora within their particular framework, right, dealing with the issues that they're facing. Everything you said, the 500 years that we're over here changing the narrative and telling our story is Black existentialism. What you're moving away from is what FBA actually represents. FBA's foundation is pseudoism. It claims that we were here prior to Columbus, that Blacks are indigenous to the Americas. I think there's a pangenesis of Black Africans on this side of the Atlantic. Secondly, it talks about Black explorers, again, being prior to Columbus, creating this indigenous population where the African from slavery were intermingled with, right? This is a complete false pseudo
So are you
scientific
saying West Africans
bullshit
never
narrative. Let
circumnavigated the
me
globe
stop.
prior
Let
to?
me stop. Let
Go
me
ahead.
finish. So when you're building your identity on pseudoisms, on falsehoods, on pure nonsense, the Abos have silenced themselves because they found a nesting place within the concept of FBA. You cannot build your identity on false and pseudo claims. It takes you nowhere and it represents nothing. That is the whole problem. ADOS, Freedman, these are all terms which we can apply anthropology to, which we can apply genetics to, which we can apply every scientific rigor which would fortify the movement for reparations. What you are doing is creating a pseudo narrative, another splinter group which doesn't support the end goal, which is reparations. So again,
But
what
who is we? But
FBA
who is we? You keep speaking on us.
Exactly.
You wouldn't
Because you
even
keep
be
FBA,
entitled
hold
to
on.
reparations. Are you a
One thing,
Black
FBA,
American?
chill out,
FBA.
bro.
Are you a Black American? Because
bro,
you
bro,
keep saying we like you
but
speak
you
in
keep saying
French.
43 million, bro. As if you think this entire population here are all descendants of slaves,
No,
and
I
it's
think
not. So
I
you
think
need
when
to
you add in
reduce that
immigrants, it's
number
probably closer to 50 million.
significantly.
And I think it's probably higher, closer to 50
No,
million
no,
when you add in
you
immigrants.
need to decrease that number significantly. If you're talking about people who have no connection to any other place, which still doesn't make sense because you're talking about 'cause when we talk about reparations, we not just talking about slavery. We talking about slavery and Jim Crow.
Jim Crow.
because Jim Crow has to be repaired also. So therefore, when you talk about Jim Crow, you talk about all of these different people who who at that point in time slightly could migrate to this country. We got a lot of people from different places. Look at Shirley Chisholm. She wasn't ADOS. Like, look at all of the important. And you can look at so many important Black Americans that did great things for Black people to progress in this country, and it's not all descendants of slaves.
But see,
it's not.
But see,
so when we look at our history, when we really pay attention to our history, and we see the people who were impactful, it wasn't just descendants of slaves or descendants of slaves in America. So, like when you talk about, you brought up Marcus Garvey.
Then who was it? Because Black immigrants didn't start coming in mass numbers till probably after the Immigration Act in the 60s. So when was this?
Even if you want to say that, a lot of those Black Americans, a lot of those Black Americans then had to go through the same struggles of the Black Americans who had been here through the slavery era.
So what?
A lot of they did the same. They had to drink out the same water fountain, go to the same bathroom, all that good stuff.
T-Dot, what's been overlooked in this conversation is the slavery on the islands.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. That's a whole nother, which is a whole nother argument.
They got CARICOM. They need to deal with the British.
They are. That's the thing, though. That's the thing.
We don't have a dog in that fight. We don't got a dog in that fight. And like the other brother, why is he trying to tell Black Americans how to handle our business? We not over there telling the Caribbean what to do with the British.
If you care about reparations like you claim you do, then you'll be paying attention to who's actually moving forward with shit. A lot of these Caribbean countries have been able to get the ball moving when it comes to reparations from England and places like that. So what you should hold on, bruh. So what you should be doing, if you really cared about reparations, because I don't think that's what y'all care about. I don't think that's what you care about. Because you will be doing more research into how to get reparations. Your conversation will be about reparations, but it's not. It's about how you want to disconnect from Africa.
Which country
That's your only focus. That's why I think your entire argument is disingenuous, because of the fact that nothing you've said has had anything to do with Black people in this country getting reparations. Nothing. You haven't pointed out one thing FBA as a cause, as an organization, as anything has done to progress Black Americans in this country. You haven't pointed out one thing.
The topic has been on a 4v1 trying to debunk FBA. The topic never went to reparations. I think
there's nothing to debunk. It's new. We all know that it's some new gang banging shit that y'all made up.
No,
we understand that.
And this is the difference. See, when you come into, I don't keep myself in an echo chamber. I know what y'all stand for over here. I know what y'all about, and I'm not scared. But y'all come over here and you ganging up on me. I'm giving you my opinion, but you don't go to other platforms and other spaces.
Not based
you stay in an echo chamber around people that agree with you, which is goofy. So y'all
your
sit up here and agree with each other.
Brother.
And y'all
that's all I'm trying to tell you.
According to who you've thrown out at least 10 fallacies. I haven't even had a chance to go against all of them.
I've asked you 1,000 times. What way has FBA progressed Black people in this country? What way? What have y'all done to get reparations?
And I told you, stop looking at FBA as a collective group, because it's not a political collective group, brother. So stop trying to look at it like that.
So what is the point of it?
It's just a lineage and separating ourselves and being recognized as our own.
Exactly. Your whole goal and purpose is for separation, and that's it. You have no other real goals.
Yes, to be known as our own ethnic group. Yes, to be known as our own ethnic group.
We already have. Our delineation and our ethnogenesis let the world know that we are our own ethnic group, considered and called African Americans. The people on the continent of Africa, they are Igbo, they are Wolof, they are Watusi, and all that. They are not African Americans. When they come over here, they retain those same things, but they may fall under the banner term, the blanket term Black.
So are you guys calling yourselves African American? That's basically what I'm getting. Calling yourself African American.
Chill out, because I wasn't finished, and I don't need no questions asked of me. And the one thing, and there's another thing that's being overlooked. The fact that this FBA thing is defunct. It's a dead entity. It's dead. DEAD, because the bill wasn't paid. Tariq Nasheed did not pay the bill. So you're pushing a dead movement, a dead
You drunk or
ideology.
something, bro? You drinking OE or something this morning?
So go ahead and look up the FBA trademark because it's trademarked, bruh. And he didn't pay.
I'd rather a black man trademark it before the others trademark it. I got no problem with that.
Tariq Nasheed trademark FBA.
I know that. Yeah, I know that. I got no problem with that. I don't have a problem with that.
Hey,
It's defunct.
fellas,
It's
one second.
defunct.
One second. Hey, Chris, I know Chris busy. If you can hear me, think you got people in the back chat trying to get in too. If you can hear this, go ahead.
It's defunct. So how are you going to stand on something that's defunct and then try to use that to override a history of a people whose history has been acknowledged by most of the modern world? Most of the modern world recognizes the history of African Americans. What are you going to do about that?
Oh, you asking me a question after you told me don't ask you no question? I understand I'm in an echo chamber. I'm pretty much a monolith around brothers who all think the same, which is cool, and I
Well,
don't
you're
got no
not.
problem with it.
But
And I don't got no.
that's wrong, though, bro.
That's what
That's
it seems
totally
like to me.
wrong because
But
everybody
any,
that's on this panel right now, everybody that was up here has disagreed on something before. Me and Cedric has disagreed. Me and Sabio has disagreed. Me and Kristen disagree. We've had our disagreements right here on this panel. So
you're
it's
trying to
not an
compare
echo
something. You're
chamber
trying to
where
compare
everybody has to
something
be
that's
on the
been
same
around.
page. The only thing,
You're
hold
trying
on,
to
wait,
compare
brother.
something that's.
The one thing, hold on, wait. The one thing that we all do all on one accord about is the definition of Pan-Africanism, and that Pan-Africanism is an ideology that means unification of black people. So that's the one thing that we all understand. I guess you are on the one case that don't get that point, that one solid point that you can't get around.
And black
Because your focus ain't unity, your focus is separation, as you've admitted. You care more about
Can I
separating
ask you a question,
than
brother?
you do
Have you ever been a
unifying.
business owner? Have you ever been a business owner?
Yeah, yes.
Have you been a job creator?
Yeah.
So if I'm a job, okay, well, I'm a job creator. I'm currently a business owner. So how is that not? And I only hire black people. So you tell me how I'm not about unifying my people. And I just told you for the fifth time. Wait, hold on. For the fifth
You're
time.
talking about your personal
For the
life.
fifth
I just
time.
told you
Yeah,
about what the ideology is about.
I can't speak for 43 million people. I can tell you personally. I told you I lived in Tanzania. I just got back from Tanzania. I was there when the protest was there.
But you're
In the
not
beginning,
saying
and
that
hold on, man.
you're
I
not
was there
addressing
when I was
Pan-Africanism.
there during the protest in the beginning of November. You brothers ain't even been to the continent talking about some
You're not
Pan-Africanism and who
addressing
ain't building a bridge.
Pan-Africanism because you
It's
keep
goofy
going
to
to
me.
that same talking point, brother.
But so what are
Unfortunately,
you?
you will
But you're
not
not.
move
Hold
off
on.
of that
So
same talking point, even
all
though it's
y'all doing is
already been
talking,
shown
though.
to
You
you
guys are not
that
building no
what you're
bridge.
saying doesn't have anything to do with Pan-Africanism. Nowhere in Pan-Africanism as an ideology does it say that you have to be in Tanzania in order to practice Pan-Africanism. Nowhere
if you
in
believe on the
Pan-Africanism does it tell you anything that you're saying. Even after you've read the definition yourself, you still want to lean on your own reference of Pan-Africanism.
Pan-Africanism will want to visit the continent of Africa, right? Hold on, brother. Can I ask you one question? Can I ask you one question? Can I please ask you, wouldn't the Pan-Africanists want to visit the continent of Africa?
Your mic a little rough right now, my brother. I just want to throw that in.
Why are you moving?
All right, we got OG Kansu in the building. Kansu, go ahead. What's going on with you? Go ahead, lay it down.
Hey, what up, man? I just
And fuck the Bears.
I understand, brother. I understand. Yeah, man. I just, this conversation has always been intriguing to me, man. I mean, me personally, I'm unapologetically African, man. I'm an African American,
Let's go.
and I don't have to make or argue that point. FBA. My problem with FBA is how it was conceived in its inception. Very disingenuous and actually opportunistic, coming off the heels of ADOS, which embarrassed themselves in Congress every day to the point that you don't even hear them talking anymore. Because those Europeans made a fool of them in Congress and laughed at them when they thought they was going to be able to negotiate with a cracker. So I don't know. I've never really understood. I've always asked FBA, I guess, followers, if you want to call it that, um, what they actually stand for. Like, I still don't know. I actually try to intently listen to gain some knowledge and understanding. I don't even know what FBA's purpose is,
Mm-mm.
and nobody's been able to tell me that follows it.
I don't think it
It's,
stands for nothing. It's the name. The name is self-explanatory. It means you're a foundational Black American. It's not a gang. It's not a group. It's not a club. It's just recognizing that your ancestors more than likely did not come over here as immigrants and have been here and have generations here. And it's not anything else. So please, you don't got to mix it up
okay,
no more. And I don't speak for all
so
43 million Black people. I'm telling you my definition of it.
okay, so let me ask you this: if you don't stand for anything, what's the purpose of the delineation?
Bingo. Because we delineated in 17 with Free African Society. That was the delineation.
Oh, let's let
Right
him
there.
answer that. Let's let him answer that. Let's let him answer that. Go ahead.
I think the purpose of the delineation is probably one of the ground floor steps in towards reparation, being identified as our own solid ethnicity and not mixing us in with anybody. Just saying, hey, we foundational. We've been here since the inception of the country. We're not from any other country. We here. Our ancestors have fought in these wars, bled, lived, and died here.
So if that's the case, and history has already substantiated that, what's the need to come with a new name? What's the purpose?
No,
I think so we
Because
can be identified. Because I
history has
think
already explained that.
what the fuck?
Yeah, history has explained that, but the term Pan Africanist or Pan Africanism, I don't think that that is getting us
I
anywhere
didn't ask you
politically. So I
about
think
Pan Africanism,
I'm,
bro.
I'm
I don't even want to. I don't want to touch that.
Pan-Africanism is not
I'm
a
asking
term
you
that
about
classifies itself.
your term, foundational Black American. Who are you trying to validate that to? Who are you trying to get acceptance from to
we're not
validate that?
validating anybody and getting acceptance from anyone. It's just stating
Okay.
who we are.
Blacks comprehend.
So where
For
did it
what
come from?
purpose?
What's the purpose?
It came out of an idea that we are our own ethnic group and we're not associated with any other continent. For the last 500 years, we had an ethnogenesis and we became our own ethnic group. Simple as that.
Okay.
But what does that
So
get you? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Consul. Let me shut up.
that's all right. It's okay. So if this is the case, who came up with this concept, or what
I
group of
believe the term
people
was I believe the
did?
term was coined by Dr. Claude Anderson, but popularized by Brother Tariq Nasheed.
Claude Anderson?
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Nope.
He okay. He said this. He said this term in Powernomics.
Yeah.
But did you go and find out his context of why he said that?
Nope.
Because he wanted us to delineate in the terms of economic growth and substantiation. He wasn't
Yeah.
talking about ethnicity.
Because Claude Anderson is an African American. He'll tell you
Yeah,
himself.
he's going to say that all the time. He's going to say that.
The fuck?
Claude says that.
Yeah, but isn't that one and the same? Isn't that laying the groundwork for separating ourselves economically? We have to be
No,
known
no,
ethnicity
because
as our own group
well, think
ethnically.
about it this way, brother. History has already been
You're pivoting,
substantiated with data
and it seems
and
like
history.
every time you get
Oh God.
pinpointed in your stance here up here, which is an anti-stance, you tend to try to shift the burden of proof onto somebody else, or you try to share the burden, share the burden of proof. No, Dr. Claude Anderson never meant what you all have hijacked this term to mean. That's what he's saying.
So what's the definition of delineation?
Here, let's
Separation,
look it up. Let's get the word
isolation.
delineate.
So you haven't done any research on it.
Wait a minute.
What?
That's once again, you
The
asked me for
basic
a
term, I asked you,
definition.
what's the definition of
I'm
delineation?
going to give you a
Just
definition so we don't use floating definitions. Is that okay? See, I use Webster's, Oxford's. That gives you an official definition so we can know how these words function. Is that okay? Because it seems to me that now you want to argue. We don't use floating definitions over here.
describe, to delineate, describe or portray something precisely.
Interjecting
Yeah,
if I
and also, Dr. Claude Anderson. I mean, Consul is exactly right. Dr.
The
Claude
act of
Anderson has
describing,
always
the
been
act of
about
describing or
wealth.
portraying something precisely. The act of describing or portraying something precisely. Do you have a problem with that definition?
No,
We've
of
been
course not.
describing
Because I
ourselves
think we need to precisely identify ourselves. So no, of course not.
we've
Okay,
been
cool.
describing ourselves. We've
Well,
been
let me ask you a question. Why do you
precisely
keep saying you don't
identifying.
speak for 43 million Americans? Why do you continuously say that?
Just to drive home the point to let you know it's not a group and it's not a club and it's not a crew.
Yeah,
It's not a
right.
group and it's not a crew. So what are you proscribing for us? See, because when I started the panel and I started this stream today, I was proscribing something. Do you know what that means?
Do I know what prescribing means?
Proscribe. Yes, I use the word proscribe. Do you know what
Yeah.
that means? Okay, what was I proscribing?
You were prescribing what should we be called other than, or what should we be identified as
No, I
collectively.
proscribed that we should. No,
One
I
different,
proscribed
other
that
one.
we should not what I said. We should call ourselves American freedmen, and that was and that piqued your interest, and you came on and you said, "Oh, what was the change of heart?" And I said, "I never had a change of heart." And it's been a little bit downhill from you since there. I already know my origin is Africa. I already know that. I never said that. You never said that yours wasn't. But when
So
you're using a lot of Tariq Nasheed talking points, everybody's up here confused. And then you say, no, I'm not. I'm not speaking for 43 million people.
so when you use the word proscribed, Chris, I knew he didn't understand what you were using. It's I don't want to give the definition, but you're talking about something that has to do with law. When you're prescribing something, you're forbidding something,
Bro, you
especially in
sitting here, you sitting here reading the Google definition of proscribing. Stop it, man.
No, he's actually reading the Oxford or Webster definition of it. You can't assume that he's using Google. Google is not a dictionary.
No, but to come on here and fake the funk like he was actually or he was actually just spitting something that he automatically already knew is just crazy and funny, man. Stop it. You're sitting
No,
here
no,
reading it,
no.
Google it on your phone.
That
Stop it.
that is
oh,
your
I
issue.
didn't know the
You
word
have to stop
prescribed.
doing that.
I
You've
didn't know
done
the
that the
word
entire
prescribed
time with
before
no
you.
evidence.
I did know the word prescribed,
Well, the reason why I
but
brought up the reason why I said that is because I was saying, look, we shouldn't be using terms like ADOS, FBA, Black Hebrew Israelites, ABOs. We shouldn't be using those things.
because it's not.
I said maybe we should identify as American freedmen. It's legally binding. That's all I said. It's in the Constitution. 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. All I heard from you today, Black Superman, is a lot of talking points, bro. So I give it back to the panel. I just want to say that I don't necessarily see where you're going with this. If FBA nor ADOS has made any strides in the last 5 years, why are you prescribing this to us?
But I
What is
wasn't
its
trying to go nowhere.
philosophy?
I wasn't trying to prove a point or recruit anyone.
Yes, you were. You were trying to say that we shouldn't be practicing Pan Africanism. That's the point you've been up here trying to say all day.
All day.
No, that's what
Yeah,
you've
I
been
was
saying
giving
all
you
day,
my
bro.
reason on why I felt it was outdated, but
Okay,
I wasn't trying
then
to
you were
recruit anyone
saying
to kind of come
something.
over and you can
Now you're
identify as
using the
whatever
word
you choose
recruit.
to
Now you're
identify.
pivoting.
Can
Now
I
you're
ask a
pivoting.
question? Can I
Do
ask?
you
You
hear
said a term.
yourself?
You you said something about something
I
being
think you're
outdated.
arguing first and you're comprehending what's going on second. Listen, I appreciate you coming on this panel. We can always build, but I got to be very direct with you. I don't think you know what you're talking about. I don't believe you. I think you came up here with regurgitated talking points that you've heard on FBA channels about Pan-Africanism, and we gave you parallels and contrast to Pan-Africanism and the FBA movement. We all agree. You can't proscribe something.
What I don't understand,
You can't do that.
and you know,
Both of
Chris,
them agree, and then you're up here acting as if both of them can't exist at the same time.
But who said they couldn't exist at the same time? I just see a bunch of narratives being thrown around and stuff that I never even
Man,
said. This is
wow.
crazy.
Okay. No, it's
hey
not
Chris, can
crazy.
you
What's
hear me?
crazy is you said that black unity is outdated. That's crazy.
When did I say
What the
black
hell?
unity is outdated? Those
What's your
words
name?
never
I'm
left my
getting.
mouth, man. Now you're
Are
not
you
telling the
hearing
truth,
him?
man.
Are you
You're
hearing now?
disingenuous.
But he's trying to get
You
in. Can you
did
hear him?
say that. You said that, bro.
Yeah, you've
Like,
been saying that.
come on, man. You said
How
that
as a
literally
black
came
man
out of
could
your
I say
mouth.
black? How as a black man would I ever fix my lips with black children to ever say that black unity is outdated, man? Come
Can I
on,
can I
man.
make
Pan
can I make
You
Africanism is
said
can I
outdated.
make a
Pan-Africanism is
observation?
outdated.
Am I able to make an observation here?
It's based on the concepts
Yeah.
of
Can you
black
guys hear me?
unity.
Yeah,
I
You,
read
Kansu.
the
Chris, Chris,
definition.
Chris.
Chris. Kansu wants to get in. Kansu wants to get in.
If you're saying
Council's on the
you
panel. I thought Council was on the panel.
Yeah, I don't think
I
you
didn't
can
say
hear
you
him for
throw the
some reason.
baby out
I
with the
think it's a.
bathwater. That's
Only.
one of the
I,
concepts and one of the facets of
Oh
Pan
my
Africanism. I
hold on
God.
never
one
said you
second,
throw the
Black Wall
baby out with
Street.
the
Hold on
bathwater.
one second.
Stop
Hold
putting
on one
words in
second,
my mouth, man. This is goofy. Go ahead.
Brody. Brody, hold on one second. Chris, I think for some reason, like it's a cutoff in the thing, and I
yeah,
don't think you can
it
hear
might be a
Consul, but we
signal.
can hear Consul.
Yeah, it might be a signal. It might be a signal.
So yeah, go. I guess
Council,
go
you
ahead,
are on
Consul.
the panel already. You're already on the panel, Council.
Yeah, can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay. What makes FBA problematic is you don't realize that you're basically speaking Pan Africanism. Because Pan Africanism, the only contradiction, and I think this has something to do with Tariq Nasheed, because he's
Yeah,
not qualified to talk history, genetics, geopolitics. He's not qualified, first off. But Pan Africanism is rooted in the diaspora and the
yeah,
unification by way of diaspora.
yeah.
But you want to delineate from the diaspora, which is totally asinine. You cannot be an ethnic isolate because you have no foundation in America.
Bingo.
You have no foundation in America to say that you're foundationally black and happen to be America when, based on the English language, the term black in America, it may be different in Africa, but in America, the English language, it's a colloquial term.
It's a colloquial term.
It is not a term that is used to describe an ethnic group. So I don't think the homework was done properly before creating this concept
It's
because it's fundamentally flawed.
Consul. This is
When
why I've been trying.
when you can use words so eloquently, you
Hold on,
just need
hold on.
to shut up. We've been fighting trying to say exactly that. That was beautifully said.
Yo, and that's why I've been trying to get him to understand the word delineation, and that our delineation happened with the Free African Society when our people decided to start separating the boat Africans from the people who were born here. They're Africans off the boat with their cultures and languages still, but we are African Americans because we have been enculturated with the Americanisms, also the Africanism.
But Savior, I don't think we should call ourselves African American anymore. I think we should just stick to the term American freedman. That's what's in the Constitution. It doesn't say African. It doesn't say immigrant. It says American freedman.
Well, but Chris, I mean, me personally, and I don't
That's what it
get
says in
into
the
the,
Constitution. We know who
Chris,
we
I don't,
are.
Chris, I don't. If I'll
But
say this
legally
in a general
binding, the
term,
Constitution is a legally binding document. We need to
well,
stick to that.
what I'm saying, Chris,
All those other
And
names and terms are
can you hear me,
terms
Chris?
placed on top of what is already written in paper, written on
But
paper.
but
Yeah,
see,
Chris. I mean, I'll disagree with you on that point because the Constitution got us lynched. That's in the Constitution too. I don't respect the Constitution, not as an African American, for what they did to my ancestors and how they tried to minimize our ability to even have a voice in Congress by turning our votes into three-fifths of a vote. That is still present in the Constitution. It's racist. It's inherently racist. That's
right,
why I don't personally honor the Constitution. But I understand where you're coming from.
I do too.
I'm not. Yeah, it's semantical. It's not worth the argument. I'm not debating with you on that point.
But yeah, I understand where you're coming from on that too. And when you think about the term African American, you have to. What I look at is the history of it and how long and when our ancestors and why our people decided to take that on, because it gave them um, a connecting point, the history that was connected with the continent where they knew they were kidnapped from, sold from, stolen from. That's Pan Africanism. At least from my viewpoint.
Again, rooted in black and in Pan-Africanism is black existentialism, which gives us our identity and our history here in the West. Yeah, you are not a genetic isolate, so you cannot disconnect yourself from your ethnic origins. It doesn't diminish or reduce our history in the West. We all agree we are our own people in the West with our distinct cultures based on where the boat dropped our ancestors. But we are a distinct people here in the West. Granted, agreed. I'm saying, and the argument everyone is having, we understand the ethnogenesis of the term FBA. There is foundational pseudoisms rooted in it, which makes us as a people of the diaspora, as or you guys as African American, look silly when your narrative claims indigenous nature prior to colonial history. The whole narrative trying to separate yourself ethnically from the continent is part of the narrative of being anti-African. And we cannot be anti-African, although we recognize none of us on this panel can get up this moment and go to the continent and seamlessly fit in to the culture there. We have been distinct or separated from that for over 500 years. Why do we continue to keep making this silly argument? Focus on the topic, interjecting Pan-Africanism in the discussion of what we should call ourselves is non sequitur. Pan-African makes no claims as to what you have to identify yourself as, other than the unity based on our collective history. We're having a complete non sequitur conversation, and the brothers being disingenuous.
Facts. And another thing you add to it is the fact that like Pan Africanism, like this is why you don't have to go to these places. What's expected in Pan Africanism is that you respect these other parts of our culture. We here in America are an amalgamation of West and Central Africans. So we are not we aren't just one individual tribe. So when you say stuff like, "Well, tell me what tribe you come from," I come from a bunch
Somebody
of them.
talking? I couldn't hear. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, so brother C dot. So
Yeah.
okay, so back to the top.
Well,
So
you
what do
kind
you
of
think
cut me
that we
right
should be
off.
called? Are you in favor of Freedman?
Sure, I'm in favor of whatever is progressive.
Finish
So
your bill,
I don't necessarily care what we call ourselves as long as it's something that's going to progress us in one of those in those areas. Chris makes a great point when he says that it's documented that we were documented as freedmen. There was a whole bank that was connected to us that we could go back to and say, hey, the people that invested in this bank were labeled as freedmen or labeled themselves as freedmen. So there are things that can connect to that terminology that will benefit us financially. So
But
yes, I see a purpose in it. I see something that could actually be done with the same way. I mean, like I explained to Chris, I saw that same thing in ADOS. I think ADOS just maneuvered from the ultimate goal, as Kansu was talking about. It kind of swayed away once their confidence kind of shifted, I guess. So I think that I didn't see a problem with that, which is why I supported it also. I thought FBA would have been awesome if it was practiced in the way that Dr. Claude Anderson actually brought it up to be done. I think it would have made sense, but the way that it's being used now is not something that's productive to Black people in this country. I just don't see it as being effective, and I don't see anything that's being labeled and associated with. If you look at their flag, it's red, white, and blue. Those colors don't represent us. I don't understand why we would ever think that those colors
Say that
represent
shit
us as a
again.
people.
Say that
So
shit again.
I mean, it's things that's incorporated into FBA that I'm like, yo, no, that this is Eurocentrism. This is us celebrating our assimilation, and I don't agree with that. But that's it.
I don't
That's
feel
well
that way.
said.
I don't feel that way as a
Well
foundational
said,
Black
bro.
American that I'm celebrating my assimilation to Eurocentric culture. I think that we misunderstanding. Pro FBA doesn't have to mean anti nothing. Y'all keep saying it's anti this and we hate this and we hate. I don't hate none of that.
You don't, but the founder does.
There is no
You
founder.
Yes, it
also
is. Tariq
adopt.
Nasheed.
There
Tariq
is a
Nasheed has a
founder.
website. Excuse me. Tariq Nasheed has a whole website. Nasheed has created a fake ass, not library, but some fake ass museum. He just cashing in.
Well, I can't speak. Have you ever thought about going on his show? Because the brother does. He does a
Fuck his
podcast
show.
every day. Have you ever thought about
Fuck
going
his
on there and
show.
talking to him directly? Because
Fuck
I
his
can't speak
show.
for another grown ass man.
I can. I'm speaking about him. See, everything you say is a talking point. I don't think you're fully aware of the. Read the comment. Somebody just made a great comment in the chat. Look, read the comment out loud. Look at it. That's all he does. At its core, it's a bunch of BS.
Well, then that's
But
that man in particular. Because I just told you I'm not anti
but
nothing.
you've
I'm not anti
adopted. Hold
African.
on.
Not
But
anti.
you've adopted something that he's created.
Do
Yeah,
you call
because
people
again, I'm
tethers?
not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. There, just like
I would
there
throw
may
the
be points and
bathwater out. I
aspects and
would throw the
facets
bath,
of things that you
bro,
agree with,
bro, bro,
and some things that you don't
bro.
agree with. You don't.
Realistically, I would throw the baby and the bathwater out.
All that shit. Throw the whole
Throw it
tub out.
all out.
He's an
Throw the whole
ex-pimp, man.
tub
He
out.
pimped Black women. He pimped Black women, bro. Are you serious?
Cause that baby ain't gonna do nothing but grow up, become a tyrant. Throw that motherfucker away. Excuse my language. Throw it out.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Niggas up
You
Yeah,
are
pushing.
part of something. I don't really think he knows what. I don't really think you know what you're a part of. That's the problem.
Nope.
yeah.
What are you
You
proposing? You
make it
haven't
seem like
given
I'm
us
a
a
part of a
proposal.
cult or a gang. I'm not. I'm not a
It
part
is.
of
It
nothing.
is a
It
cult.
is a game. I
It's a
think it's a
cult and a
game.
gang.
It's
It
all.
is. It is.
That's
Why
all
would
I'm
you
saying.
use
Is,
it
have you
again?
ever went on his? Have you ever went on his show? No, I haven't. That's just a talking point. And the reason why
It,
No,
you
that's
asked me
saying.
it,
why would I go on
No,
his
that's saying that
show?
if you have topics and
Hold on.
issues
Black
you want to debate
Superman,
with them.
Black Superman. And the reason why I wouldn't, you told me to go on his show is because you know he's the leader of FBA.
No, it's because you're in an echo chamber right now with 300 people that all agree with you. Go somewhere where people don't
Stop,
agree with
stop,
you and go have
stop,
a
stop.
debate with the brother if you don't
Hold on,
agree
hold
with
on,
if
hold
you
on,
don't agree with his
hold on.
stance. Don't do it
Okay,
on your
see.
show where you got the mic and you can mute and talk shit and
hmm
over talk people. That's not
So go
fair.
to his
Go over
hold
he
to
on,
can
his
do
real
it.
platform
quick.
and go talk to him if
Look,
you got
look.
an issue with him.
Now watch this, guys. Now he's defending Tariq Nasheed.
Yep.
No,
Now
I'm
he's
saying
saying
because
go
I
to his.
don't defend him. If you got an issue, y'all keep throwing his name around. Go talk to him. The brother's on every
Okay,
day.
He
You
okay.
haven't
created
Guess
it.
what?
you haven't been
He created it,
overpowered.
whether you
He
like it or
created
not.
your game. So you
He
Yeah.
can't
created
throw
it,
away
whether you like it or not.
your gang leader, your gang. The dude, like as a former gang banger, Okay, if I was still gang banging, if I was still hollering about I'm Crip and this, that, and the third, I can't throw Tukey Williams out the window.
You
You know
can.
why? Because he's a founder. He's a real creator of what the gang was and
Okay, well,
all
all
of
I'm
that. So
saying is
ain't no way I can
don't
throw
do it in
him
your
out and be
echo
like, oh
chamber
no,
where
I'm gonna throw
everybody
your
agree
Wait a
language
with
minute.
you.
So
on
Don't
my
do
go
it
to
in a
his.
mama.
Hold
space
on,
where
hold on, hold on.
everybody.
So go to
Don't
his
do it in a
echo
space where
chamber and debate
everybody
him over
agree with you
there.
in an echo chamber.
Hold
Go
on.
over there and go holler at the brother if that's how you
Okay.
feel. Don't
First
do
of
it in an
all,
echo chamber
okay.
where you know you're gonna get attaboys and pats on the back by every weird corny joke you say or every point you try to make. You know they're gonna agree with you.
Oh,
So
you hold on, hold on,
go
hold on.
somewhere
Are
where
you
go holler at
upset?
him.
Hold
So,
on.
No, I'm
Are
saying
you
go holler at the brother.
upset?
Don't do. No, I'm saying don't talk about him over here.
Okay, so
Go
I don't
talk to
get
the brother
attaboy. First of
personally.
all, hold on. First of all, I don't get attaboys over here. You joined the panel, and you were very happy when you joined the panel. You said you love this platform.
I
Now
still
you're
do love the
insulting the
platform. I
platform.
still do love the
You
platform.
mean to tell me what is an echo chamber is where everybody agrees with you? Last time I checked, everybody that calls on his show agrees with him.
pretty much.
Yeah, because I'm still wondering what I would be called. Would I be called a tether? Would he try to figure out what
Would he
foreign
call me an
country I'm from
FBI
in order to
agent?
say I don't agree with him?
Would he call me an FBI agent because I'm asking him some tough, direct questions?
But
I
I don't
don't
That's
know
all
know.
that
he
Just
does.
because we
We're not
disagree,
doing
that don't
that.
mean I'm anti Chris Harris. I don't mean I'm anti your show. That just means,
No,
hey
no,
man, we
no.
happen to
That's not what we
disagree on this
said.
particular topic.
Hold on. That's not what we said. CDOT said if
You
he
asking
goes
me to
over there,
speak
will
for
he be
Tariq Nasheed and ask me what is he gonna call? How in the hell am I supposed to know what that man is supposed to
because
call
that's
you?
what he. You want to know why? Because that's what he does.
yeah,
That's
that
what
was
you
a
stand
very good
for.
question.
You
No,
stand for
what I'm
his
saying is,
organization.
My
if you brothers
question
keep
was
bringing up his name, because
rhetorical.
I'm not bringing up his name, you should go over there
No,
and go
but you
holler at him.
bring
You know what
up
time
a
he's on every day, and
philosophy
he has
that
a
he
panel and he brings
created.
brothers up.
But
Don't
you're
do it in an
Uh,
echo
bringing
chamber where
you're
everybody agrees
bringing
with you and
up
everybody's gonna have
you're
the same
bringing
talking
up
points.
a philosophy that he created, and there are pseudo pillars and nonsense that forms the foundation of what FBA stands for. And you're trying to get away from that, and you can't. You cannot call yourself a Crip or a Blood, but say, yeah, well, well, I don't agree with the philosophy of the Bloods, but I'm a Blood. What Bloods do and
Right.
Bloods represent. No, I'm not that though. I just like the name Blood.
No, because I think you're
What?
rewriting what the definition of FBA is. And what I'm saying is, if you got a problem with that brother, then stop bringing up his
I'm
name
not
in regards to me and
rewriting.
what I'm talking
I
about.
am
Go
not
holler at him
rewriting.
himself.
You. I am
Yeah,
neat.
you
I am not
gaslighting, brother.
rewriting anything.
You
First
gaslighting.
of all, you could go to the website and it clearly identify what FBA is. FBA consists of
and he tells you
pre-colonial
he's the founder,
Africa.
by the way. He tells you he's the founder of it at his website.
Pre-Columbian, yes, pre-Columbian black people here in the Americas, and he goes on to the Van Sertima and the heads and all this pseudo information as his foundation. Secondly, he's talking about independent pre-colonial. Black explorers. Who are they? Where did they come from? Question mark. I guess he's referring to the Mansa Musa claim that he made in his pseudo and the one component that he says is a recent admixture is the a small number of African slaves that were brought over. This is what FBA represents. So the moment you say FBA, it has baggage, it has a definition, it has a context that you cannot get away from. And the
Thank you.
aspect of FBA that you
Or
agree
Taker.
with is an African American.
But brother,
Okay, got you. So I don't know what. So what do
he cites
you identify as, sir? And which country are you
he
from? And what
cites
do you personally identify as?
Hold on. Let's. I think Kansu said something. Go ahead, Kansu. What were you saying?
Is it me or is it dead air? I can't hear anything.
Yeah, that's dead there. That's dead
oh
there. I'm
can you hear
constant.
me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
hear
we
you
can
now,
hear you now.
constant.
Yeah, see the issue, and I've heard Chris and I've heard C Dot say this. Um, the fundamentals are rooted in scholarship. You can't be a personality when you start talking history, man. You got to do your work. You got to do the work. Tariq Nasheed never did the work, so he's never going to be respected anywhere he goes. He's an ex-pimp. You're not going to be respected, sir. Your credibility is shot. and that's problematic. We don't even have to get into the semantics of FBA because he cites Ivan van Sertima, but his whole ideology would call Ivan van Sertima a tether. So that means that you're quote mining and you're data mining because Ivan van Sertima isn't foundationally black in America. He wasn't that. So it contradicts. Ivan van Sertima is good enough to quote, but he could never be foundationally black. So why is he part of your corpus?
Damn,
Damn,
That
that was
lets me
good.
know. That
Damn,
lets
that
me
was
know
good.
that Tariq Nasheed is not qualified. It's logistically incorrect, and he's pandering to ignorant people.
hey, you want to know what's crazy? You just made me think about something when you said that about a Van Sertima. A lot of the African scholars or scholars they use, a lot of them were mixed. They would be called tethers.
Yep. And it's because Tyreek came from
I
doing
just think
those
overall
hidden
the FBA
colors
arguments are
stuff.
weak.
He
Oh, that
FBA
hidden
arguments
color
are
shit,
all
see
built.
that?
yeah, that's where he came from. It
I think
came
all
from
their
the hidden
arguments are built
colors.
on insulting or questioning the motives of Pan Africanism when it's apparent of what Pan Africanism is, was, and what it encompasses today. I really think that's what they do. They copy and regurgitate a lot of YouTube arguments, and when they try to wield that sword, and they get up here, get on panels, they get upset because they don't understand the minutia of the argument itself. Like Kansu was saying, um, Tariq Nasheed is not qualified. Well, Tariq Nasheed is a radio personality. He is not a historian. He is not Dr. Claude Anderson, Ivan Van Sertima, Shankanti Jope, or anything. He's not qualified. He's giving you guys, he's armed you all with talking points that are easily destroyed. Easily destroyed. Simple. What do you disagree with? What part of Pan Africanism do you disagree with? And every answer you gave was answer.
But Chris Martin Delaney broke this shit down in his 10-point argument.
Oh, 10
Martin
point
Delaney
argument.
broke this shit
Wow.
down.
Wow.
I mean, you're not gonna touch Pan Africanism with a 10-foot pole. You can't touch it. It is what it is. It's still standing. You're not
Yeah.
gonna argue that.
Exactly.
You
It's
know,
I
I
mean,
still
it
would
was
standing, but by
established
regardless.
with
your own
America.
admission, you said maybe only
That's
five
what
to
I've
ten
been
percent of
saying. If
people
he wants us
worldwide
to
are practicing
support
it.
black African American efforts over here in America, then why would you have a problem with Pan Africanism?
That's
Right.
what I'm
And I didn't
saying.
say
The
and I didn't
philosophy
say
is established over. I
But
told him that
who has a
earlier.
problem
It's
being
established over
FBA doesn't
here.
mean you have to be
He said he
anti
doesn't want
Pan
to forget the
Africanism.
efforts of his ancestors over here in America. Well, goddamn it, W.E. Du Bois was goddamn educated.
right. And I didn't say 5 to 10% of
But y'all are trying to run
worldwide.
to
I
his
said
talented
5 to 10%
tenth doctrine,
in
not even
America.
understanding that also was a response to the talented tenth, which was written by white folks.
And the
He
fact
made
that
a response to that, called the
and the
talented tenth of black people.
and the fact that there's not an African in the diaspora, not a black man around the world
That's
that
crazy.
thinks he's just a nigger and comes from nothing and is nothing and has been nothing, right? That is a product of Pan Africanism. Whether they are consciously engaging in Pan Africanism or not, the world has been changed since Pan Africanism, Black existentialism, Africana studies. We are not to be denied in the world anymore based on Pan-Africanism. So whether you practice it or not, you live the result of it. Eliot in here in the
That's a
Caribbean,
fact.
and all
Yeah,
these
that's a good
great
point.
writers, right, that created
That's a
and
fact.
produced the reality that we all share today. You cannot get around it. Whether you want to be a proponent of this concept or not, you live in the results of it.
Well, it looks like Black Superman met his kryptonite today.
That's a fact.
You know, and like I said, FBA is seeking to establish an identity for black people in this country. Uh,
Good luck.
I'm sorry. Wasn't Pan Africanism trying to do the same thing? I mean, they've already accomplished more in what I'll say 100 years, and you guys have done in 5. It takes time. At least there's a flag that we can identify with. Did you know Tariq Nasheed gave you guys a flag? There's a flag. He literally has a flag for you all. I don't see you guys flying that around.
Does he have a non-for-profit, Chris? Does he have a non-profit?
Yes. Yeah, he got a
I should have
nonprofit.
known. I should have
Yeah.
known.
What
Yeah.
color is this
So
flag, Chris?
he cleaning money over there. He got a laundromat. He over there cleaning illegal money.
Got a book
Okay.
too. Got some
Yeah.
books. Some crazy books, man.
And didn't he adopt the
So this is
Juneteenth
not an
flag?
echo chamber. This was actually a
Yeah, he
discussion
did.
built on identity.
Mm.
Yeah, well, fuck it. What'd you say? You want the smoke on that?
Now, we were just saying he if
You know
he
what I'm saying?
adopted
So
the Juneteenth
all I'm
flag,
sitting up there saying
then
is, I mean,
I
it
don't
seems
think I
like
can
the
hear.
same thing, the same reason why you support FBA are the same reasons why we support Pan Africanism.
No, we
It's
don't
really
support
the same
Pan-Africanism
thing.
based on its pseudoism. There's no pseudoism, and whenever pseudoisms pop their head up, we all take a swing at it because we want our Pan-Africanism to identify and represent us in the world on an academic, social, and environmental level. What you're doing with this FBA nonsense is making us look ridiculous in the diaspora and get you laughed out of any building that you walk into. FBA, what is the problem? Who are these people? Oh,
Hey, my
what?
But
bad. Hey,
see,
I had a
if
question.
you
I'm
if
sorry.
you
So you said,
You
my bad. I
claim
had to
to
step
be
away for a second. So you said 10%.
if you study Pan Africanism, Pan Africanism is responsible for the Black Renaissance.
Thank you.
It's responsible for Black scholars. Every culture has a Renaissance period to give it a connection to itself. Without Pan Africanism, we would not have a concept of our identity and our foundation.
Hello. I'm sorry, brother. Did you hear me?
Oh,
We hear you
go ahead,
now.
bro.
Oh, no. I said, so if you said 10% of so-called Black Americans are practicing Pan-Africanism, so what's the percentage globally
We don't know. Is that good enough?
of, oh, okay, yeah, okay. So you just pulled the numbers out of your ass and then when I ask you, you don't know. Okay, every question is I don't know. Go
Yeah,
ahead, brother.
because actually I said knowingly. I said knowingly
10% of
5 to
people.
10% of
Yeah,
African Americans practice
thank you.
Pan Africanism knowingly. The rest
Based
that
on what
do it
study? Based on
unknowingly.
what study?
It's not based on the study. I'm giving you an estimate. The same. That's what you
So you
asked
just
me
pulled
for.
out,
Is an
okay.
estimate. We talked about estimates because you haven't
Well,
brought
hold on,
out
C dot.
anything based on any
No,
studies
no. I just want to ask
whatsoever.
him. But see
What?
that I want
Like
to ask.
not
I
in
want to
the
keep him there.
slightest.
That's fine that you're saying that. See that I want to know why is that significant.
Because my point was going to be how successful is it? And if it's 10% here, it's got to be less globally. So what traction is it gaining and been gaining over the last
Well,
200
that's
years?
the. What do you mean? It's part of the Black Renaissance. Didn't you just hear what we said?
There are literally black leaders of countries who practice Pan Africanism. Kwame Nkrumah is
Such
one.
as
So
which
that's a
country?
whole that's a
Which country?
person.
Which head of state? Which? Yeah, we know Kwame Nkrumah and Julius Nyerere, but recently in modern history, can you name one country that's
Ibrahim
practicing
Okay,
Pan
there's
Traore.
your
Africanism?
answers. There's your
Ibrahim
answers.
Traore.
No, see, the reason you
Ibrahim
asked
Traore
that
is practicing
question,
nationalism. He's about Burkina
hold on,
Faso. He's
brother.
not about Pan Africanism.
But
The
He's
reason
about nationalism. His
you
country.
are
They were just about to go to war with
hold on,
Nigeria the
brother.
other day.
Hold
the
on, bro.
political
The
upheaval
reason you're saying what you're saying is because FBA is an institution. Pan Africanism is an ideology. You can't put numbers on an ideology, bro.
exactly. We
You're
really
talking
this idea.
institutionally. It's not an institution, bro. People don't join it. You're not a member. It's a part of sociology.
That's
It's
the
a
same
You
social
exact thing I said
construct.
about FBA. That's the same thing I said about FBA. It's not a
FBA,
membership.
you
It's not a
you
group.
tell
You can
me,
take it and apply it to Pan
give
Africanism.
me,
Okay.
That's
give me
wrong.
the sociological orientation of being foundationally black, according to sociological studies. What is the language? What is the culture? What is the religion? What is the ontology? What is the epistemology? What is the
North
teleology?
America. It's simple.
Huh?
What?
What? What? You just slow down. I didn't understand half of what you were asking me. That would have been a fair answer, but to say North America implies you didn't even understand the question. Again, you're talking, that's why this is a false equivocation, and to interject Pan Africanism is non sequitur. Pan Africanism is the foundation from which you yourself are arguing, my brother.
That's where you got the concepts from.
Oh, my man.
God
Hey,
damn.
God damn.
You
What?
got the concepts from North America.
Man, they need a bomb. We need a bomb in here, bruh.
That's
We
crazy,
need to
man.
Oh
drop one of them on
man,
here.
pass the ball, man. Come up out of that bullshit, bro.
The whole concept of delineation is Pan Africanism. That's what it is.
You're fighting for your black identity because of the history of Pan Africanism, with all the intellectuals that told us what those white folks are saying is some bullshit. You got Caribbean countries with all Caribbean leaders. You got movements all around the world establishing our black identity not being denied. Well, African Americans have fueled a movement where the American culture is adopting aspects of African American as mainstream. Yet you deny Pan Africanism when it is the foundation of black existentialism, and the fact that you're having this conversation is rooted in Pan Africanism. The whole point is
I mean,
non
or
sequitur.
do you see what's going on in Burkina Faso?
Bruh, Pan
He mentions
Africanism.
Pan Africanism. He talks
Come
Pan
Oh, he
Africanism.
left. He left. He mad. He left. They are
That's
decolonizing in Burkina Faso.
yo,
They're
and that's what
literally
killed them.
decolonizing.
That's what killed them. That's what kills them every time we start talking about. Oh, nobody in Africa. Probably more people in that. It's over 1.2 billion black
on.
Africans in Africa.
But
So
here go the
therefore,
thing.
there's no way you can sit up here talking. Well, there's more people here that's practicing.
This
No, it's
nigga,
not.
but that nigga got his ass up here and he started talking about, I went to Tanzania. Nigga, that's East Africa.
Okay.
Why you
Yeah.
ain't in West Africa?
Yeah.
Right.
What you in East Africa
He went
for,
out there
nigga?
with folks recognizing themselves as Arabs more so, and he was like,
Nigga,
"Oh, they
get
don't
your
mess with
ass on
us."
out of here, man.
Duh.
You're
What
an
up here talking
American
about
West.
East
You
Africa?
American West. You're not Arab. Bro, come on, man. We know, we understand. Again, the whole conversation was convoluted. You jump up here and we're talking identity. Pan Africanism allows us to establish our identity. Pan Africanism identifies the struggles that we face in the diaspora, each to its own, but united in your fight. I am pro reparations for Americans. So when we talk about delineation, it's necessary because we understand the migration history. So again, a valid conversation is one worthy. However, you cannot root yourself in anti-Africanism, in anti who the hell you are. You cannot root the conversation in pseudoisms. You're going to get laughed out the building. I keep saying the real agent is this FBA nonsense, because instead of we talking strategically how we're going to address reparations, we're talking about an identity crisis which is not rooted in anything but a scammer and a fraud and a flim flammer with his pseudo mentries. Right? Because
Yeah.
what about the dynamic when the government hits you with, well, it's going to come out of your own tax money? What about that? So are we prepared to really have and strategically deal with this situation? Right? Instead of having the real conversation, Tariq Nasheed is pulling his pocket, and we are segue away from the real conversation. Talk about agents. Talk about agents. And y'all doing it for free because y'all jumping on a bandwagon, convinced by emotional rhetoric, right? By preaching hate, right? As if hating other people, for calling me a theta when I'm sitting here in the Caribbean trying to have an intellectual conversation. You resort to theta because that's all you guys have, and it makes no sense. You create disunity, right, in the face of a struggle for unity. That's nonsense.
Yeah, that's crazy. They try to tear down unity. We asked him earlier today, and I think that was a key question. I kept saying, what proponents of Pan Africanism do you disagree with? Do you not like? And they can never really tell you that. You know what I'm saying? He says it's outdated. What makes unity outdated? I'm confused because whenever we listen to your leader, he's not talking unity. He's making inflammatory content. Inflammatory content on his radio show. He's not talking about bringing black people together. That nigga talking about trying to get you to spend some money.
Yeah. Now you
Yep.
got
That's all he doing.
Now you got flim flam scammers like Ron, who used to be unbiased, but now he's biased and confused as hell. According to him, we have 4 African booty scratches of hair. Because that's the kind of statement
That's
he
just
now is
crazy.
making too. Now we're
That
African booty scratchers when we're telling everybody, no, bro, we're not African in that sense because we don't fit in the culture anymore. We have an ethnogenesis. We agree with that, but you cannot deny our origins based in pseudoism.
right.
That's the only argument here. But y'all got your head so far up, Mr. Playboy, pimp the black ladies. You know what? That y'all can't think straight. And again, he's attacking those most vulnerable in our community, those that are scientifically illiterate, and those that are easily emotionally moved. All you got to do is preach some hate, get some people some fire under their ass, and you can get them to do the type of rhetoric we're seeing here today by so-called Black Superman. That's it.
Facts. All facts of the matter. And it's sad. It's
Yeah.
sad because even explaining it to him, he's like, even when you give him all of these different nuances, he still sticks to that same narrative. You know what I'm saying? He's always going to go back to that same narrative because it's been processed into his brain cells. Like he talking about echo chambers. No, dude, you live in an echo chamber. You literally saw something and said, "Oh, that's interesting."
I'ma try
So now I'm gonna
that. I'ma
dive
try
head
that.
first into it. Yeah. So I mean,
I'ma try that argument.
I got the script. I got all the talking points. So when they say this, I go back to that same talking point. You're going back to the same talking points, bro. You know, now you're on script. You're not
exactly.
dealing with the information that's put in front of you. You're just on script at this point.
That's
Yeah, man.
exactly.
Tariq Nasheed just making money off of that. First thing when he hijacked the ADOS FBA movement, what he did, he built the website, built the African American Museum. It ain't got shit in there. Had a grand opening, made money off of it, and he continued to make new dummies every single day.
He literally he was the reason so many I don't know how he can get away from this, but Hidden Colors is a reason why a lot of people are Pan-African. He was actually a part of that movement, having all these Pan-Africans on his collective show talking about African history and all of this other stuff. He was a part of that. So now all of a sudden we supposed to just throw that out the window. Don't erase Hidden Colors, y'all. Now we on to the new stuff. The new scam is FBA. Now we need to get away from them Africans. Even though I taught y'all, I put all these people on here to talk to y'all about connecting with your African brothers and sisters around the world. Now I'm gonna flip the script all of a sudden.
So watch out for Hidden Colors, the edited version 2.0, where he deletes and edits all the African aspects out. He already said he was going to get rid of James Small. He's definitely going to get rid of Dr. Oyamayat. And what he can do, put it back out, repackage it, and the pseudos are going to buy it again.
Facts. So family, I want to tell y'all thanks for tuning in, man. Like I said, I'm going to start going live again and just building conversations up. Hey, guys, I got some exciting shit coming up. I got me and Cedric Ortega. We're going to be destroying those fake flim-flammers over there at Paradigm Shift TV. We're going to be destroying them one by one by one by one. You know what I'm saying? They're going down by the barrel of a gun. All right? So you guys go subscribe over there.
We're going to be at the circle, and we're going to be knocking down those plastic ducks.
That's right. That's right. So, like I said, you guys go subscribe over there, support that channel over there as it pertains to debates over there, guys. I'm gonna give a shout out to C. Cedric Ortega. Cedric Ortega, you got merchandise that you're selling. Am I correct? It's called No Flim Flam. Am I correct?
Man, a good brother of mine made that T-shirt. It can be available if anybody wants it. Just hit me up on Facebook, and I have my brother hook you up.
All right. With that being said, we got Kansu Sheshimwa Moon. I think I can speak with him when I say fuck the Bears, guys. We signing out. Y'all have a great evening. We out. Peace. Be live
Peace,
and
y'all.
direct tomorrow. Peace. Peace.
Peace, y'all.